You are live. Grand Rising. We are going live here in about 10 minutes.
9 minutes until showtime.
9 minutes until showtime. Give me some more tea. People always asking me what kind of tea I'm drinking, so I'm going to show you this one.
8 minutes until showtime.
So now you can see what kind of tea I'm drinking. So I don't know what kind of tea you're drinking. You're always drinking a good tea. Tell me you're a tea connoisseur. So let's see what kind of tea you're drinking this morning.
7 minutes until
7
showtime.
minutes until showtime. 7 minutes until showtime. This is what I'm drinking. Rose Tulsi tea. It's delicious. While I get the rest of the paperwork here ready and do my thing for get ready for morning meditation. Did you meditate yesterday? If you didn't, why not? It's never too late to start. Never too late to start. Because meditation can save your life and take you out of a place you don't want to be. Put you in a place you don't want to be longer than you want to be there.
6 minutes
6
until
minutes.
showtime.
So you just might want to do some deep breathing exercises, and we will do that at... They're still voting for Kelvin Duke. Lord have mercy. Now, you know the contest was over this weekend, right? At midnight. They still voting on Monday morning. Well, you know, that's what people do. We said Saturday night, midnight. People do what they want to do, okay? In the meantime, in between time, got some goodies for you. I got some goodies for you. Move that over. Move that over. We got a few minutes before we start.
5 minutes
Oops, 5 minutes.
until showtime. minutes
4
until
minutes.
showtime.
Duck, 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 duck.
3 minutes
3
until
minutes.
showtime.
Grand Rising. We're going live in 3 minutes here on blogtalkradio.com, The Female Solution, and Facebook.com, HLN TV show. And let's remember our YouTube channel, YouTube Higher Learning TV show. When you see that logo, you'll know you're in the right place. Today's show, 7:30, How to Be a Good Wife. And at 8 o'clock, mental health professional, veteran mental health professional, that would be Khalid Scott. Love hurts sometimes.
2 minutes.
So join the conversation. You can call in at 515-605-9325 or simply join us online. But whatever you do, make it a good day because you're all you have. So you may as well do something special for yourself. And thanks for joining me. Thanks for liking and sharing. Shalom. See you on the other side. Thanks for watching.
One minute.
1 minute. One minute.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Love Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talent, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. I'm Naima Latif, executive producer of the Female Solution Radio Show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world.
To our family in China, Ni hao.
In India,
Namaste.
In Japan,
Konnichiwa.
In Korea, annyeonghaseyo.
Annyeonghaseyo.
In Russia, zdravstvuyte.
Horotstutse.
In Germany, guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
In Poland, dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
In France, bonjour.
Bonjour.
In Spain, hola.
Hola.
In Italy, ciao.
Ciao.
In Egypt, asamasaka.
Asamasaka.
In Ghana, akwaba.
Akwaba.
In Nigeria, paleo.
Paleo.
In South Africa, salbona.
Sabuna.
In Senegal, nangade.
Nangade.
In Kenya, jambo.
Jumbo.
In Israel, shalom.
Shalom.
In Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed into the swing of things? Don't worry, you are not alone. Join us for thought-provoking, stimulating, and mindful conversations on higher learning with those of faith for your Monday morning mindfulness session on Blog Talk Radio, the Female Solution. Monday, 7:30 to 9 a.m. Be sure to send your ideas, thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, visit zeldaspeaks.com and visit your info. We'd love to have you. Experience mindfulness moments with the mindfulness/stress relief coach, Zelda Speaks. And thanks for sharing the mindfulness moments with us today. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay tuned to the next session of mindfulness on higher learning with Zelda Speaks. Make it a mindful day. Thanks for listening.
Grand Rising. And thank you for joining us this morning on The Female Solution. Welcome to Monday Morning Mindfulness. I'm your host, Zelda Speaks. It is Monday, February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day. And many of us celebrated yesterday by doing the traditional thing, what they tell us to do. Go out and buy candy and flowers. But I don't think anybody went outside. Somebody went out, but it just wasn't me and people that I know. It was just too cold, too much snow, too much everything. It's cold outside. So thank you, but no thank you. But if you're celebrating a birthday today, happy Earth Day, birthday, born day. If you are celebrating a birthday, we are celebrating this birthday with you. So thank you so much for joining us this morning on Monday Morning Mindfulness. Love hurts sometimes. Does it? And does it have to? Prayers for the sick and the shut-in and the essential workers and those who are affected by this pandemic, which means all of us, because we are all in this together, all over the world. Our guest today is Khalid Scott, veteran mental health professional. At 8 o'clock, he'll be joining us, but at 7:30, Lord have mercy, if you have not heard How to Be a Good Wife, ooh, you're going to love this one. You know, when I first heard the topic, Naima called me and I was like, how to be a good wife? You know, the first thing I thought of was back in the day, women were taught in this country and other countries as well how to, or what to do, I should say, to be a good wife, because there are certain rules for women and there are certain rules for men. And one of those rules is what are some of the things that you need to do. And I thought it was very interesting because my first reaction was, well, I got to be a good wife. How come he can't be a good husband? So, okay. So my defenses were up immediately because I'm from the old school of thought of rebellion. Why it's got to be all the work as it has got to be on the woman. So this should be a very interesting 30 minutes. It is the qualities of a good wife women's seminar, and it's taking place March 4th, but I will March 6th, 13th, 20th, and 27th, but I'll let her tell you all about that. So you stay close because we've got a very special guest coming on at 7:30. If you're listening online, 515-605-9325, press 1 to speak. Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Jody, for joining us this morning. I am only a reflection of you, my dear. It has to be in one in order to see one. So thank you so very much. He said, touche. He was talking about the wife, right? Thank you so much. You be sure and join in tomorrow morning. Jody will be here. Self-cell care. Jody is the latest addition to the female solution. And she's only had a couple of shows, but they have been powerful shows. And it's like, I'm so glad, girl, we should have had you a long time ago. But nobody left, so we had to wait until somebody went on hiatus. So thank you much, Jody Susan of Susan Essentials. That's my girl. Alrighty, now let us move on. If you're following us on social media this morning, you know the YouTube channel, Higher Learning TV show, as well as the Higher Learning Network TV show on which airs Tuesdays at 6, Wednesdays at 1 on channel 19. And please go to our Facebook page and subscribe. That's facebook.com HLN TV show. And on Instagram, it's Zelda Speaks, the number 2 and the letter U. So it's Zelda Speaks to You. And while you're on social media, be sure and go to the new social media website designed by a woman of color. Her name is Dee Daniels. She is the founder of 2 sites, actually. Click, KLIK, CLIK, Click. And it's a social media site. And it's designed by a woman. So you know we got to support, right? All right. So you be sure and join us there. And if you want to call in, 515-605-9325, press 1 to speak. And you can also put in your comments in the section here, and we would love to have you. And be sure and go to my, what do you call it? Blog. Couldn't even think of the word. Just had a brain fart. Zelda Speaks, WordPress.com. And there is information there on latest that's going on. Actually, the fundraiser that we started last week for the homeless here in Chicago in Tent City. It is cold outside. It is a winter storm watch, and people are out there laying on the ground, Lord. We have got to help people help themselves. So please do what you can. And I will post that information here on the website. On here as well, because it is crucial that we be concerned about each other. Because this is not a you me thing. This is all of us in this together. And we, yes, the Bible tells us all the time, we are responsible for each other. And it is our responsibility to help the less fortunate. Because in America, we all throw away money on a regular basis. And that money can help. What we're trying to get money for is they need a generator, just something to keep warm. They got plenty of coats and gloves and hats and scarves. But if you got some, you want to take them by there, Tent City, they'd love to have you. So please do it. For those of you who know me, my little brother, Douglas Robinson, was murdered by another homeless man on February 19th. And we're doing a fundraiser all this week to help get that generator. So any donation that you can, please send it to higherlearningnetwork.org. It is a tax-deductible donation because it's a nonprofit, and the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds, there's no staff, none of that. All the proceeds go to the homeless, so to help them get it generated. And thank you for my Big Wiz family, my girls at the Glenwood skate rink, Pat, Liz, Angie, Val, Cersei, Cox. I know I'm leaving somebody out. What's her name? Liz, and I'll post all of that on the in the newsletter that goes out. And if you want to subscribe to the newsletter, that would be send us an email, info@higherlearningnetwork.org. And also be sure and join us on Clubhouse after the show. If you are in pain, like I am sometimes, but it's a whole lot less pain with the Hunter method. Yeah, and I got to write information about that on my site as well. The Hunter method. That is a guest that I met on Jody Susan's show, The Hunter Method. And her name was Stephanie, and she showed me some tricks, well, not some tricks, but some methods. The Hunter method, how to release this pain, because due to my accident, I have pain sometimes. And everything that she's taught me, oh my God, where has she been? Where was she at for the last 7 years? I could have used it 7 years ago, but she's here now. That's what's important. So, Do You Hunter is the name of the website. I guess I should post that in there for you too. DoYouHunter.com. Do You Hunter. Do You HUNTER.com is the site that I go to that helps for pain relief. So check that out. And I'll be posting that on my blog as well as zeldaspeaks.wordpress.com. And I also have the Healy, which is an app, micro frequencies. And that's what Jody talks about on her show, micro frequencies. And if you go to my site and see what that's about, you'll get a chance to see, because we're all energy. We don't know. They're not going to tell us that because all the power is in our hands. But they don't want you to know that because they want you to keep coming to the doctor. And I'm not knocking doctors, because doctors have saved my life, especially when I had that accident. But you need to know for your own personal growth and development. So go to zelda.now.site. That's SITE, zelda.now.site. And if you notice how groceries, the prices are inflated, everything twice as high, at least $10, $20 higher. Got to start growing your own vegetables at home, people. zeldarobinson.towergarden.com. That's zeldarobinson.towergarden.com. And there's a free download, How I Reverse Type 2 Diabetes, on diabeticdonut.com. As we take a look at the traffic and weather, it's winter storm warning still in effect today, breezy and bitter. If you are headed out, Lord have mercy, it's just going to snow until tomorrow. It snowed all day yesterday. It's going to snow all day today. That's what they say. Talked to my girlfriend in Mississippi last night. She said, girl, you will not believe it. It's snowing down here like crazy. And I was like, yes, I would. I didn't want to believe it, but yeah, I kind of believe it. Anyway, if you're headed out, and if you got to shovel snow off your car, do it in increments. If you haven't been, that's work. And you will mess around and have a heart attack. So pay some young person to do it, or do it in increments. Shovel for a minute or two and stop. Take a long, deep breath. Pace yourself. Okay. There are no delays reported on CTA or Metro. Traffic is sponsored by Karen Kelly of ITEX.com. And you can get a $100 code to go shopping immediately. $100 just by mentioning my name, Zelda. Thank you, Rich McGee. Always giving thanks to the ancestors. 33 miles per hour wind due to snow drifting. Wow, that's a lot. A lot of airport cancellations too. Midway has 66 cancellations. O'Hare has 40. As we take a look at the Kennedy, it is 29 minutes inbound, 24 on the reverse. On the Eaton's 27 in. Lake Cook to the Junction on the reverse is 22. On the Eisenhower, a little crowded there. 39 minutes in, 30 out. And on the Stevens, 21 in and 20 out. On the Dan Ryan, 95th to downtown, it is 16 minutes and 15 minutes on the reverse due to a stalled car at 43rd Street. Bishop Ford and Lakeshore Drive are both at 11 minutes in both directions. And it's time for your spiritual reading this morning. And I want you to read from A New Being. I want you to read that on your own. A New Being. Let me put that in here so you can see it. ANEWBEEING.com. ANewBeing.com is the place for you to go, because that has 365 days of Black history. 365 days. And it's not just Black History Month, honey. Black folks invented everything, but they're not going to tell you that because they don't want you to know that. They want you to remain disempowered. This is the book I'm reading all month. Black people invented everything, and I do mean everything. And everything you need to know is in that book. When I saw Hulu, that's what really freaked me out. It didn't freak me out. It just surprised me. Everything that you can think of, the chips that go in this computer that you're watching the show on, the microphone, my glasses, my head wrap, my jewelry. Black folks invented everything, but they're not going to tell you that because they don't want you to know that. So you got to just know that do your homework and read. So right now what we're going to do is read each other. It's an inside job. We're going to get ready for Monday morning mindfulness meditation. Yep. You know what that means. It's time to do some deep breathing, because deep breathing expands the lungs. It triggers the brain and the happiness gene. You want to be happy? I was listening. If you did not hear Viata's show last night, Soul Purpose Healing, OMG. They're always in the archives, so go back and hear Soul Purpose Healing. It broadcasts on 3 channels, rather. It's Facebook.com, Soul Purpose Healing. blogtalkradio.com, Soul Purpose Healing, and Blog Talk Radio. I said that. Okay, go back and hear. You will not believe this. Dr. Nalani Valentine, I think she's the one who came on and said something about smiling at our organs. And I was like, wow, I got to use that meditation. So thank you, Dr. Nalani Valentine, who was the guest on the show last night. Got to go back and hear it. And we're going to smile at our organs this morning as we breathe in. Hold it. And as we breathe out. So to set yourself up, straight up in your chair, feet flat on the floor, nothing in your hand, no tea like I'm about to drink. Nothing in your hands, nothing in your minds, nothing in your lap, feet flat on the floor. And we will begin to inhale to the count of 5. Hold it, breathing through the nose, and inhale it. Every now and then, girlfriend, just have to have a slice of pizza, and I'm paying for it, right? But that broccoli and that spinach and the mushrooms on that pizza was so good. It just needed some vegan cheese, not regular cheese. But I ate it, now I'm paying for it, okay? Anyway, so let us begin the process. Closing our eyes. You should not be looking at me, but looking at the inside of your eyelids. Inhale deeply. Hold it. And exhale. See, you feel that already. I know your brain's ready to wander all over the place, but that's okay. Simply focus on the breath as you inhale deeply. Put your eyes and your heart and your soul and your spirit all in your breath. Hold it. And exhale. Once more, inhale deeply. Hold it. And exhale. Feel that calming effect from the top of your head to down through your shoulders. You feel it every time you breathe in. You breathe in deeply. And exhale. As you continue breathing on your own, giving thanks for the power of the breath, knowing that you are at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. As we breathe in, And as your mind begins to wander, give thanks for that wandering mind and send that mind back down to your gut, because that's where we're breathing from the chest, from the gut, bringing it all up into our sinus cavity as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, continue counting on your own. And just be in love with your breath, not with the breath of artificial love, of flowers and candy, but the love of your breath. As you send love, light, and energy to each and every organ in your body, as you smile with your brain. Ooh, it looks so good on you as we inhale deeply. Ah, the brain is smiling, and now let's take it down into the throat. A great big old smile for the throat, because someone somewhere can't breathe and it's not you. So close your eyes as we inhale deeply. Hold it. And exhale. The body is becoming more and more relaxed. As we breathe in, we are smiling with our heart this morning. The heart says, yes, oh, I love it. Let me breathe in some more for you as we inhale. And as we exhale, giving a big squeeze hug to the liver and the lungs and the pancreas, and the spleen and the spine. They're all smiling. And they're smiling because you're smiling with them. They're smiling back at you as we inhale deeply. Giving thanks and smiling to the assimilation, digestion, and elimination system. That's the colon, because we want to keep that colon clear. No blockage from pizza. We take Nopalina for that. As we inhale deeply, we are smiling on down to the insides of our bodies, giving thanks for all the systems that are working just by the power of our breath as we breathe in. Giving thanks as we send light and love and energy to the top of the head on down through the face and the shoulders and the sides and the backs and the buttocks and the solar plexus and the thighs and the knees. Sending love and light and big smiles to the knees. Yes, I love those knees. Rubbing those knees and rubbing those thighs where those quads, I was having issues with it, but due to the Hunter method, I know how to massage these thighs. It's a very special technique, nothing like I've ever seen. Oh my goodness, but it works and I'm so happy. And my thighs are happy and my quads are happy and my ankles are happy. The insides of my muscles and the outsides of my muscles, they're smiling and it makes me smile and it feels so good as we inhale deeply. Hold it. And sending more love and light and energy down through the legs and the ankles and the arch and the foot, the heel, the ball of the foot, the top of the foot, and the toes. Wiggle those toes. Yes. Sending more love and light and energy as you are smiling with those toes and wiggling those toes and sending that love and light and energy. And a big smile to the toes, bringing that smile back up through the knees, the legs and the knees and the thighs and the hips and the buttocks and the back. Oh, yes. Oh, just loving on this body and just breathing. The happiness gene has been activated and it is loving and it is responding and it is smiling with every breath as we breathe in. And as we breathe out. As we breathe in, continue breathing that energy back up through the upper torso and to the shoulders. Rotate those shoulders. Take a long, deep stretch as we inhale. And exhale, move those shoulders and move that body, bringing that energy back up through the head, the top of the head, as we give thanks for the power of the breath, because it is the breath that will keep us in times of chaos and confusion. All you have to do is one thing, and that's breathe in through the nose, hold it, and breathe out. Now take those hands and put those hands behind that neck and massage that vagus nerve, sending a big smile to the back of the neck, rubbing that vagus nerve. And you don't know what the vagus nerve is about, then you got to go Google it, find out why it's important that you stimulate that vagus nerve. Oh, it does wonders. And you wonder why you feel so good and you're smiling and you're laughing. Now you know why. Because you hit that vagus nerve, baby. And then you're rubbing those shoulders, the back of the neck. Oh my God. Oh, that feels so good. Hands, where have you been? My shoulders are smiling. My elbows are even smiling. Can you see my elbow? You see that big old smile on my elbow? Oh my goodness. This body is having a good time this morning. Yes, and I can see the smile on your face as you take one long, last, deep inhale deeply. And exhale. As you exhale, bring your face down, chin forward, chin to chest. Rotate that head to the left. Sitting up straight so you can bring that head all the way around to the back. Slow down, you're moving too fast. And slowly bringing the head around to the right. Slowly, slowly, slowly bringing it back forward. Head up, inhale deeply. And as you exhale, bring the head back down, chin to chest. Slowly rotate the head to the right as far as you possibly can. Slow down. Feel that stretch as you're sitting up straight and breathing. And slowly bringing that head around to the right. Head down, head up. Inhale deeply. And look to the left as far as you possibly can. Oh, yes, that feels so good. Feeling the stretch in the right side of the neck. Bringing the head back forward. Inhale deeply. And turning the head to the right as far as you possibly can. Feeling the stretch in the left side of the neck. And bringing the head back forward. And simply inhale deeply once more. One long, last deep inhale. And exhale and just marinate in the joy that you have just expressed to your body, how much you love it and appreciate it with a great big old smile. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Nalani Valentine, for sharing that last night on Soul Purpose Healing on Viata's show. Because now we are smiling and our organs, the brain, the heart, the liver, the lungs, the spleen, the spine, the circulatory system, the digestion, elimination systems are all working in divine order. You have been blessed with this body. It is your responsibility to maintain and keep this body healthy. And you are alone, are the immune producing machine. You cannot wait on man. You cannot wait on a doctor. You have the responsibility and you have the power in your hands to become the immune producing machine that you are by what you put in your mouth and what comes out of it when you speak. Hallelujah. And if at some point during the day or your life, not just today, if you are confronted with chaos and confusion, you simply begin breathing. Hello. Inhale and exhale. And people will look at you like you're crazy, but that's okay because you know the secret. You know the Most High has your best interest at heart. And it is the breath of life that will keep you in times of chaos and confusion. And if you got a little funk on your breath, didn't brush your teeth, little garlic, little onion, you're going to be just fine. So you be sure and practice that anytime during the course of the day where you have chaos and confusion. And you be sure and go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. And you'll see more and more tips and techniques that you can use. YouTube.com, Zelda Speaks. Thank you so very much for your comments and suggestions this morning. Jody Susan says, spot on. Your body is a master healing machine, Dolly. Love your message. And thank you, Jody Susan, for sharing that information. As we go to before we go to break, let me share with you our very own master healing machine, Dolly. Love your message. And thank you, Susan, for sharing. Somebody needs to cut something off because we have feedback. Before we go to break, let me share with you our very own. Miami, you got something on? Love your message.
If you have another
because we have feedback
from the phone.
I don't know why we have feedback because I don't have anything on.
You have a phone connection.
You have the phone?
If you have another phone. If you call into the station, you can hang up.
I don't know what's going on, but yeah, so maybe we can figure it out.
We hear you fine.
Great.
Connection, you can hang up.
So just stay close when you take a break.
Can you hear me?
I don't know what's going on, Miami. I don't have anything on, so I don't know why there's a problem. It didn't happen until you all came on, so log out and log back in. That's something I can tell you.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
Okay. That was my fault. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I knew it wasn't on this end. I closed everything out.
All right.
And Naeem, I'm going to let you introduce our guest today. And hi there, First Lady Doreen Little.
Hi, how you doing?
Wonderful. Now that we have you on here, we got all that noise out the way. We doing good.
I'm Howard Williams, CEO of Serenity Family Social Care. 312-315-0820. This is Minister Cynthia Marie Williams, spiritual counselor and advisor. I invite you to a private reading in the areas of business, health, finances, relationships. My introductory cost of $20. Please call because there is a higher power that can help me help you. 312-802-4743. Peace and blessings to you all. Call me. 312-802-4743.
Grand Rising, and thank you for joining us back here on The Female Solution. Welcome to Monday Morning Mindfulness. I'm your host, Zelda Speaks, and we're joined by the executive producer of The Female Solution, Naima Latif, who has a very special guest with a very special word for us today. So, Naima, take it away.
All right. Well, I had the privilege of meeting this sister as we did some work at her and her husband's church there on the west side, a very powerful ministry. And she's going to be doing a seminar on, of course, March is Women's History Month. So this 4-part series is entitled The Qualities of a Good Wife. And we always talk about the fact that the family is the foundation of our society. And somehow we have these issues where our marriages don't stay together. And, women, we point the finger at men a lot, but it's really a lot of it. If we just understood a little better about how to be that good partner, we could keep those families together. So I wanted to bring our sister on, First Lady Doreen Little, First Lady of the Christians Temple FBH Church at 1218 North Pulaski here in Chicago. And she's going to tell us all about this seminar, because I encourage everybody, if you're married, thinking about getting married, been married, want to try it again, you need to come to this seminar so you can figure out what you can do right in order to get married and stay married. So thank you so much for joining us today, First Lady Doreen.
Thank you for having me. And the address is 218 North Pulaski Road.
218. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Oh, I read the flyer wrong. Yeah, 218. I should know right on the
Oh, that's all right. We only human.
Yes.
I am grateful for this opportunity this morning. Nice to meet you, Zelda.
Yes,
God has given me the opportunity is to pour back into women. A little bit about myself. I'm married. I will be married 31 years on the 23rd of this month.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah, I got married at a young age. I got married at 21. And as I tell everybody, I've been married my whole adult life.
Yeah.
And I have 3 amazing sons. Amen. God has granted us a blessing. Amen. It wasn't always easy. And, we have our trials and our tribulation. But with God in our marriage, we have made it thus far. And I just want to pour back into married women, engaged women, and single women to let them know what does it take to be a good wife. Because I think sometimes we as Black women, our attitude, we're so strong and determined, and that kind of blocks a situation when we're coming into a marriage. And when we just need to sometimes have just to stay in our place and learn how to listen sometimes. Instead, we won't always be in the forefront. We want to speak before we listen. Because I had that problem. Oh, that was my biggest problem. I just wanted to say what I had to say, and that was it. But when God intervenes in your life, he gives you common sense. Sometimes we just have to learn how to listen. And I think we as some women, I think when it comes down to marriage, I think the biggest issue with women is being submissive to their husband. And we will always say, he can't tell me what to do. He ain't my daddy. He's not trying to be your daddy. He's your partner. You has helped me. So you're there to help him and to push him into his destiny. So sometimes we have to sit back and listen. And then when we listen, then we can reply with the answer. It's not always just jumping in and biting in. You want to get your point across and that's all. That's not how it is. Because I used to be like that. And so one time my husband got me back. So when he got me back, I sat back and I learned how to listen. So we can just listen sometimes and not being, don't get me wrong, I love a strong, powerful Black woman. And that's what we are. But sometimes our attitude is what really gets us in trouble. And our mouth. Our mouth can be very, very ratchet sometimes and very vocal. And with some stuff that comes out of mouth, rather than loving on our mate, we say things is to hurt our mate. So if you are his helpmeet, you are there to help him and to push him on. We can't tear our husband down. We have to build them up. And as when that's what we're here to. We're here to help them, is to build them up at all costs. Yeah, sometimes they get on their nerves. Yeah, sometimes you want to knock them down every now and then, but that's life. You have your trials and your tribulation. Now, I can just tell you, by me being person, my first 5 years was rough. They were rough. But God intervenes, and I'm here to tell you, when I think about marriage, I think we all supposed to have communication, trust, and finances. Sometimes are the three things that kills a marriage. And infidelity will kills a marriage. And I think with infidelity, when we first get involved in that situation, first thing we say is divorce. So I mean, just be honest and be real. I, stepped out on my husband within the first 5 years of our marriage, and it was rough. It was rough, and then he in turn did it. So we both did it. But I tell you, it was rough, and I can tell you this, and I can promise you this: the situation, it was rough, but I prayed about it, I fasted about it, we talked about it, and we cried about it. But I promise you this: within that situation that we were going through, we never slept in separate beds. We was always together, and we have been together till this day. The situation we went through, it may sound funny to you all, but it made us closer as a couple. And I'm just here to tell you, divorce is not always the option. If you love your mate and you want to be there, put God first in every situation. Your marriage, your children, whatever it is, what you desire, put God first. And when you put God first and you love God, God will love on you and your marriage. First of all, when you find that mate, he has to love God. The Bible tells us he has to love you like Christ loved the church. So if he had that God loving him, oh my God, the love that your husband can give you because he loved God and he's fear God is unlimited. It is unlimited. So I'm just want to let you know, when we take on the role of being a wife, we wear many hats. We wear many hats. We're the wife, we're the mother, we're the referee, we're the go-between, we're in between, we're the problem solver, we're the cook. It's just so many titles, and it does get overwhelming. And sometimes you have to go sit in your place and just, come back to yourself. Does it get overwhelming? Yes. Does it get stressful? Yes. But it is the beautiful and most wonderful relationship that you could ever have. And look at me. I am a happily married woman. Will be 31 years. And this is my name, man. And I'm grateful for the man that God has placed in my life. My husband grew up in church. I didn't grow up in church. So I didn't really know about church until I met my husband. And when I got in church and I seen things that was going on, my husband, when I met him, he was an awesome choir director. And when I seen him at the church, I was like, oh my God, what have I got myself into? But I want to tell you, from the second day, well, I can tell you, when we met, I was his boss. We worked together, and that's how we met. I was his boss, and we worked together. And me being me, as a young lady, I walked up and I asked him, I said, let me get your number so I can go to church with you.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Being a young lady, church wasn't on my mind, just to keep it real. And so I had called him that night, Zell. And when I called him that first night, he didn't know who I was because he was drunk as a skunk. Yeah, but the second night I called him, it was just like that second night we talked on the phone that whole night, and we have been together ever since from the second phone call. And we dated, I think, about 7 months, and he proposed to me, and I said yes. But I tell everybody, my husband, not one time did he ever ask me to be his girlfriend, to be his woman. It's just from the second phone call we have clicked, and we have been together in total of 32 years.
Wow.
And it has been an amazing experience. Did we have financial trouble? Yes, we did. I can tell you, Zelda, after 25 years, we seen the light at the end of the tunnel because we was robbing Peter to pay Paul. We was living from paycheck to paycheck. And even at one time, my husband and I wasn't even working. So you figure how was bills getting paid? God yet provided. I can tell you this. Was it a struggle? Yes, it was.
I'm sure.
My husband took my mother-in-law, God rest her soul, to go get a car. And when she got that car, he started referring people. So once he started referring people, you had $100 every time you referred people.
Oh.
So with that $100, we was able, to catch up on some bills.
Oh, wow.
But God is providing. But that situation just could have made us just, throw our hands up and just walk away. Because when we got married, we wasn't financially ready. We were young, and people counted us out from beginning age. When I say they counted out the beginning when we got married, people was looking for us to fail from the moment we said I do. But look at God. God has kept us and God has sustained us. Amen. But I just want to let you know, with those years, my husband was working a good job. Then child support set in and his income drastically decreased. But we are still together. Was it hard? Yes, it was. Was it frustration? Yes, it was. But we still stayed in. Even at one time, my husband didn't want to do what he did to provide for his family. He went and applied for public aid. I said, well, now you go and just put the boys on there, and that's it. Now we'll be fine. So he went down there and he got approved. And Zelda was the crazy thing. When I was on it, I wasn't getting that much, but he went down there. He was getting more than me.
Wow.
And I was the one. Exactly. But he had to put his pride aside because he had to provide for his family. Yeah. So we went through some stuff. Would it cause our marriage to end? Most people say yes, it would. But the test was worth everything that we went through as a couple. Our foundation is so much stronger. It's so much better. It's so much loving. It's so much happiness. And I'm grateful for every test and trial that I had to go through. Can I be an example of a good wife? I can say, yes, I am. I'm not perfect, and I don't claim to be perfect. But can I tell you some things to help you work out through your marriage? Yes, I can, because I've been there. I've done that. I've been through the struggle, and we have struggled for 25 years. Within them 25 years, God has been blessing us ever since. Because we sustained the test. We sustained the test. We didn't give up. We didn't walk away. We stayed through the trials and errors. We stayed and we are yet still together. So I just want to let you know, married women, engaged women, and single women, if that's the man you want, and that's the man God has designed for you, fight for your marriage. It's worth it. But be careful.
Because it's work.
It's work. It's work. Definitely work.
It's another job.
Yeah.
Amen. And it
work is hard.
Just like we go to that 9 to 5 when you put in 8 hours, we got to put in them 365 days, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Yes, no time, no vacation. It is work. And if you want it to work and you want to make it work, you have to go through the storms. You have to go through the tests. And I promise you, ladies, take this message right here good. Married women, don't allow anyone else in your circle.
Ooh.
Don't allow your friends that are single, they can't give you marriage advice. Don't allow them in your circle. Why? Because the first thing, exactly. Because what they would tell you, honey, I wouldn't take that. He can't tell me what to do.
Right.
That's our mentality. That's what we would tell our friends. They can't give you marriage advice because they have never been married.
Right. Or if they're divorced. How you going
Exactly. And be careful what you share with them. Why? Because what's going on between you and your husband should stay between you and your husband.
Right.
If you're giving all your secrets, what's going on between you and your man,
your best girlfriend will have your man. There
you go. Wheels gonna start turning. Well, if he's doing that for her, he can do it for me. So your circle has to remain between you and your husband. Yeah. And if you're under a pastor and first lady, and if you need counseling, go to them. You can't allow people in your relationship, your family, because I believe sometimes when family get in, it break loose. You understand what I'm saying?
You don't want to do that. No, ma'am.
Well, I got a question.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that you have shared the difficulties, because people always figure, oh, well, she don't really know. She ain't never had no problems. She don't know this. I've been through this. But I'm glad that you were open about being human. But I think the challenge that people have is being able to forgive, especially things like extramarital affairs and things like that, or even to be able to weather the storm when financial problems are hitting you. And then, that's when you really turn on each other. So what were some of the steps that you all went through in terms of forgiveness when it came to that breaking point between the two of you? How did you come back and mend what was broken between you?
Well, like I told you, we fast and we prayed. But I think the actuality was when God spoke to my husband and told him, you was not that good yourself. So my husband was out there doing stuff that I didn't know about. But when God spoke to him, that's when the healing process began. So God intervened in our situation, because I was at home mom. I had my son. I had 2 sons, I believe, at that time we was going through. No, I had 3. But yeah, and I can even tell you this. Within the first 5 years of my marriage, it started within the 2nd year. We was on my way home from church. And my husband told me, I got to tell you something. I was like, what? This was before we got married. We already was dating. My husband had 2 kids within the same year I had mine. I had my first son in July, and he had 2 more kids in November. I knew nothing about it. This was 2 years into my marriage. So that was grounds for me to just get up and walk away. I'm looking at Zelda's face. She looked like, wow. Yeah. And that was just like, that was a situation that I just could have took and just threw my hands up and walked away.
Wow.
But look at me. I'm still here. I was still a babe in Christ. So I was still new to the church thing. But that was my husband, and that was my kid's father. And I weathered the storm. But God, I have to say, it's always about God. God was there for us. God helped us through, and we went to counseling with a married couple. So, we did the task, we did the work, we did what we did have to stay together.
How long were you in therapy with the counselor, the marriage counselor?
Well, it was our pastor and our first lady. So we went to them, and he told my husband this one thing, and it stuck with my husband to this very day. He told him, man, if you keep digging up garbage, it stinks.
Ooh.
So let it go.
Ooh.
Wow. That's a good one. That is a good one.
Wow.
So the more you dig up the trash in your past, the more confrontation, and the more strife you bring in your marriage.
You are absolutely right about bringing up the past, because the past needs to stay where it is in the past.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
when we live in the past, we recount those experiences and bring those experiences into today, and it causes chaos and confusion today. Well, if it caused chaos back then, it's going to cause chaos now. So why bring it?
Let it go.
Exactly. That that record we grew up listening to, got to leave the old stuff in the past.
Yes.
Why? If you still living in the past, you're blocking your future.
Yes, ma'am.
You can't get to the future destiny where God's trying to lead you because you're yet living in the past.
Right.
What should have could have been? Well, you did this and you did that. We can't bring that up.
Right.
If we forgive, we have to let it go.
I love a quote that I heard on Viata's show. I don't remember who it was, but she said, it might have been Viata, Soul Purpose Healing on Sunday nights. And she said, live according to your imagination, not your memories.
There you go. That's it. That's the
people stuck in the past. Oh yeah, it was happening. It was popping. Yeah. But look at the trauma it caused. And because you're bringing that back from way back then, it's right here, right now, and it's sitting on your plate. And it don't taste good. It stink, as you said.
Exactly. You can't live in the past. If you live in the past, you're blocking your future. You can't see forward because you're yet living backward.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing that I struggle with. Because like you say, that those first 5 years are always challenging because you're dealing with your ego. And, I had a strong personality. Of course, I was with my husband for 20 years before he passed away. And I'm grateful for being able to mature in those 20 years. But I think the thing that was something I struggled with was anger over things that happened and not being able to let it go, and then bringing it back up at every argument. That's just like when you did so-and-so, and I struggled with forgiveness and letting go rather than feeling like I got to hurt you back for how you hurt me. So how did you work that out in yourself, in being able to just not bring it up again, even if it looks like something might be happening again, but don't talk about it. Don't bring that thing up again. Let it go.
Me personally, what happened, I just let it go. I didn't want to dwell on the past, but my husband, he dwelled on for a while, but I think men are sometimes, we can say territorial sometimes. When it's something that they love and they trust and they value, they're hurt. But I can tell you this: when we went through what we went through, Zelda, and my testimony sometimes will blow people's mind, because I want Zelda hit me this good. This is really finna drop your mouth. I took my husband to the man's house because my husband wanted an apology. Ooh. So we went to his house together.
The man that you were having an affair with?
Yes.
There you go. Mouth drop.
Yes. He knocked on the door and they talked. He said, man, all I want is an apology from you. And that man gave him an apology. They shook hands.
Wow.
And we moved on.
Wow. Wow. That's beyond wow. I don't even know what to say. I have never heard that before. Never, ever in life. Whoa.
But I tell you, our testimony is so different. But I'm here to tell you, you can withstand infidelity, adultery. Wow. It may be hard, but put God in it. Get counseling. Go talk to your pastor and your first lady. That's why sometimes we can't have outside entities in our marriages.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
But to God be the glory. We are in 31 years strong this month.
Wow.
And I am grateful for everything that God had put before, because it had made us to where we are at now as pastor and first lady. We can tell you things. We can help you through some things. The process may not be easy all the time, but I promise you, if you always put God first, you can't go wrong. Now, is there leaders and different people, that have divorced that was in church? Yeah, that's just part of life. But if that's your soulmate, if that's your one and only, if that's your true love, you're going to fight for it.
Wow.
You're going to fight for it. That means that my husband tells people, I'm the best thing to happen to him. He's the best thing that happened to me. And I value him only because when we were dating and he wasn't working, I said, well, babe, come on, let's go to the show. And he told me no. He said, if I can't pay, we won't go. And he told me what a true man was. He said, if I can't pay, I don't want to go. I don't want you paying my way.
Okay. Wow. That's some kind of man you got there, girl. Congratulations on your 31 years. It is 7:59. We have got to a break, but I want you to give us the details of who, what, when, where, and why of this women's conference, because I can already see that's going to be powerful.
It's okay at my church, Christian Temple FBA Church at 218 North Pulaski Road. Every Saturday in March, starts from 10 to 2. You have a one-time registration fee of $25. And I tell everybody what I put on my flyer. God and I got good information for the women. The registration is open. You can send it to our church cash out, $, capital C, TEMPL1. And that's our church cash out. So I'm looking forward to pouring back, into the women. God has given me the opportunity to share, my experience, what I've been through. It's to help the next generation, because our younger generation, the women, they just look lost to me. There's no foundation and there's no structure. So God has given me the opportunity is to pour back.
Now, can they go and register on a Facebook page or website? Where do they go if they want to?
Go to the cash app and just $, C Temple, leave the E off and the number 1. And in the memo, in the note, just put seminar.
Fantastic. All right.
Thank you, ladies. I appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you for sharing that information. Good Lord. I just posted that on our in our chat session here.
Thank
And
you.
it is CTEMPL1.
Yes.
Put note in the seminar. Thank you so much. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
First Lady Doreen Little.
All right.
And we look forward to seeing you at the upcoming seminar in March. All four.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Love you all.
Thank
Love
you so much, my sister. Love you
so
too.
much.
Have a great day, and thank you so
You
much
too.
for our first commercial break.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Manual therapy and neuroscience to treat the whole person. Our quip for the day is keep it moving. Doesn't matter how, just keep it moving doing something you enjoy. Walking, dancing, rolling on the floor with your dogs or kids, really anything. The body craves movement to keep its bones, joints, and muscles happy. Even our mental health and internal organs and digestive system rely on our movement. Thanks for being a part of the Higher Learning Network, the Female Solution.
And the Higher Learning Hip Roll.
What if you could live to be 120 years old and remain active, healthy, alert, and vibrant? Our bodies are made up of cells that are constantly rejuvenating. So if we take proper care of ourselves, we can literally defy aging. Join us every Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time to learn about self-care from Tucson Essentials on the Female Solutions Blog Talk Radio Show. Learn how to help your body and your cells feel rejuvenated each day through proper nutrition, sleep, frequency medicine, and many unconventional methods of self-care. I'm Jody Tucson. Join me and my amazing guests by calling in at 515-605-9325 and press 1 to speak. We'll help you achieve a breakthrough in your health today. What happens when a group of people are kidnapped from their homes, smuggled away in chains, and held captive in a foreign land where they are tortured, raped, and forced to perform hard labor by the lash of a whip and under the constant threat of death? Slavery, the African American psychic trauma. What happens to the doctors, writers, scientists, builders, educators, and spiritual leaders from Africa's golden age? Who did they really capture and sell into slavery? Are all African Americans suffering from psychic trauma because of a conspiracy to hide their true identity? Do you have psychic trauma? Take the test on page 22 of the book and see. Order it online today at www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. And get your personally autographed copy of the book, Slavery, the African American Psychic Trauma.
Do you want to live in a world without war? Join our global peace movement. Having culture, world peace, restoration of light, transcend culture, religion, ideology, and other boundaries to achieve peaceful harmony in the global society. HWPL is committed to bringing world peace and cessation of war through peaceful dialogue between religious groups. I am Director Shinsu Kim of HWPL Chicago branch of North America. Join us for our next gathering. Call 773-580-1501 and be a part of the movement for world peace. Email us at chicagohwpl@gmail.com.
Hi, this is Sean Alexander.
And I'm Naomi. Meet people like you who are making a positive difference in the world. Find us every day on the Media Connection at www.youtube.com/themediaconnection.tv. There are people who choose to make a positive difference in the world. Our job is to bring you their stories to motivate you to do the same. Join us each week, host John Alexander and Naima Latif, as we bring you the educators, entertainers, elected officials, religious leaders, and community activists whose works are transforming this world. Find out how you can make a difference too. Be inspired. Watch the media connection. Mondays at 5 p.m. and Tuesdays at 12 noon on cable TV, Channel 19 in Chicago. And other cities, check your local cable list.
Grand Rising, and thank you for joining us back here on The Female Solution. It is 8:05. You are live. Mental health for Black History Month. OMG. Love hurts. Sometimes. That's what they say. Well, we're about to find out with veteran mental health professional, Brother Khalid Scott, man of the hour, who is here to help us get through the madness. Because we don't know. Should love hurt? Well, let's find out. You want to join us today? 515-605-9325. Remember, you must press 1 in order to speak so we can see your little hand up when you press 1. You can also join us on our YouTube channel, which is the Higher Learning TV show, and Facebook, HLN TV show. As we go to the phone lines to welcome our veteran mental health professional guest of the day who brings a wealth of information. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the one and only Brother Khalid Scott. Thank you so much, Brother Khalid. Thank you for joining us.
Oh my God! Thank you for happy Valentine's Love Day to you and everyone else.
Yes, sir.
And thank you for having me as always, and thank you for that introduction.
You know,
I really appreciate that.
That was my Arsenio Hall intro. Remember when? Well worth it, because you are a man who has weathered the storm and knows how to help other people get through the storm. We're not talking about the fact that it's snowing out here and has been snowing. Not that storm, not the storm on the outside, but the storm that's on the inside, because that's the one that we need to conquer. And you always lay it down.
Absolutely.
You always lay it down, straight and simple.
Absolutely.
And I know you've been going through it right about now, haven't you?
Yeah, I will admit, over this past year with this COVID pandemic, it has really brought a lot of things to the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the main things it has brought to the forefront is our dysfunctional love.
Wow.
And my business is booming now. I have a private practice, and right now I am only seeing married couples.
Wow.
And trust me, I'm getting referrals on a weekly basis.
Ooh, Lord have mercy.
Weekly basis, especially for the last 6 months. And I even got one Saturday. A young lady got in contact with me like, Mr. Scott, this is supposed to be love weekend, and me and my husband need some help.
Oh.
And I'm booked solid.
Oh.
I am booked solid.
Oh.
Yeah. So business is booming, but it's the business that I wish wasn't in place, you know?
Yeah.
Because for me, somebody who was very pro-marriage, pro-black love, pro-love, it's a sad state of affairs to see so many couples struggling right now with their marriage and relationship. And you know, it was funny. For instance, a lot of men have been requesting me because why? I'm an African American male.
Okay.
And I think some husbands think that, well, if I get a male therapist, he'll be more on my side or more aligned with me. And what I always explain to all the couples is that I always have to play neutral.
Mm.
You have to feel like I'm on your side, and the other partner has to feel like I'm on their side. And the only way I can do that is I walk the middle between both of them. When you're right, you're going to be right. When you're wrong, you're going to be wrong. And vice versa for your spouse. But the work, the goal is to get you two at a better place. Not perfect, better. And to give you some coping mechanisms and coping strategies to keep working on your relationship, because the reality is you'll never get to perfection, but at least you want to get to the point where we can fight fair and we can love each other after the fight. And we can learn something after the fight. If you can do those three things after you fight, then your marriage and your relationship will be salvageable. It'll last.
Now I gotta ask you the question. I gotta ask you the question. What is a fair fight?
Okay, a fair fight is that when we are arguing, when we're at conflict, that you don't hit me below the belt.
Ooh.
You don't take my vulnerability and use it against me.
Oh.
Don't say anything to the extreme that will have a lasting and long effect with me.
Ooh.
Because we're in the middle of a storm.
Ooh.
That our fight will be on the table. Our fight won't take us to a place we can't recover from.
Wow, that's powerful. A fair fight. You cannot go below the belt. That makes you vulnerable.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. And see, oftentimes when we do fight, we don't fight fair. And that's how we lose each other. And that's why we can't we can't go back to that happy place. But I'm going to always remember you grew up and I was abused by my last ex. Or that you helped me land on my feet when I was broken. Or whatever because the reality is when you get ready to fight, you know the armor you want to hit them with.
Yes.
But sometimes I bet not do that.
Okay.
So for the ladies, don't ever emasculate your man. Don't ever emasculate him in a fight. Because let me explain why men take emasculation so serious. If the woman I'm in a relationship with makes me feel less than a man, then what's the point of being in a relationship with her?
Right.
If she doesn't see me in a male role. And the thing is, even if, let me really explain this to men, ladies, so please listen up. If you ever emasculate a man, either unconsciously or consciously, his number one goal in life is to destroy you. And I'm saying it's that impactful because what I do is I'll be on a quest to make sure you know I'm a man. And how often do men show women that they are men? Either by being physically, or I'll go out the street and I'll start sleeping with other women. Because I know that'll hurt you more than anything. So if you don't believe I'm a man, let me show you how much I'm a man.
Okay. I never looked at it like that. Thank you for that, Khalid.
Yes.
Because we got a filthy mouth.
Yeah, especially us black men, we do not like, because the world emasculates us enough.
Right.
Not the person who I lay in bed with.
Right.
Not supposed to do that to me. Not my kids. Not my whoever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I mean, like literally, Zelda, I had to have a conversation with my 18-year-old Anaya because she said something kind of off the cuff. Because I'm a very nurturing dad, and of course, nurturing doesn't always transcribe to be super masculine. You know, so my daughter was saying something, and she said a word like almost like I was whining about something.
Oh.
And when she said it, I immediately let her know what she said was out of order. And did she say it to be mean-spirited? No. I think it was more so tongue-in-cheek. But see, for me, being a father of an 18-year-old, I'm not going to have my daughter out there in the streets talking to men that way.
Okay.
Because one man won't be like daddy and be like, wait a minute, let me set you straight.
Yeah.
His way of teaching her will be putting his fist in her eye.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I want her to be very clear. You don't go around emasculating men.
Right.
Like you don't ever go and put your hands on a man.
Right.
You know? So
wow.
This is what I mean by the dysfunction. And let me describe, like one of my former clients, this is going to be really impactful, Zelda. I had a couple come in. They've been married. They have been married over 20 years. They did not have children between themselves. And what happened was the husband stepped out and had a baby outside the marriage. Now, the couple, they were going to really try to make it work, even though it was a baby involved. Now, the first session, I asked the husband, have you ever stepped outside the marriage and cheated on your wife? And no. And when he said it, I knew he wasn't truthful. Because a man knows.
Right.
And what happened was, by the time we got ready to wrap up sessions, it was found out that he had stepped out 3 times prior in the marriage. And because he wasn't transparent in the therapy session, the wife decided to divorce him. And now they can go through a divorce.
Oh, wow.
You know?
Yeah.
And I begged him for months. You got to be transparent. Because if you're not transparent in therapy, you take away the healing. But you won't be healed. It's like going to the doctor saying that I'm sick, but you don't tell the doctor all the symptoms. The doctor is only treating 3 of the symptoms, but the other 3 he doesn't know about because you haven't told him. And so you don't get fully healed because the doctor never got to address the other 3 symptoms that you had because you didn't tell him you had them.
Okay. It's like,
that was a loss. That didn't have to happen, possibly.
So being transparent in the marriage is like going to the doctor and not telling the doctor everything that's wrong with you.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And being transparent in all relationships, not just marriage, all relationships. I am the most honest friend you will ever have, Zelda.
Wow.
Because our friendship is worth it. And I cannot be honest with somebody who has a title of friend, family, spouse, lover, whatever. Then what good is that relationship?
You're right.
What good is that relationship?
You're absolutely right. Wow.
I mean, it's surface. And that, real love is being real with yourself and real with the person. So get and the much about it. I mean, to be honest, Zelda, you don't have any time about being an emotional husband. You know, to my female friends who are married.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Now,
a lot.
Explain what an emotional husband is.
Okay.
Okay. What an emotional husband is, you're a male friend to a female who's married or in a relationship, for the most part. It could be with a single woman too, but mostly you have a friendship with a woman who's in a relationship. So what ends up happening is she doesn't get all of her needs from her spouse or her mate, right? But what she does is she gets fill in the void with the emotional husband who happens to be a friend. And what happens is I get to hear all the tragedy and trauma of the relationship. But when you go over the boyfriend or the husband, he doesn't get it. Because they're not getting along well. So the wife or whatever, she dumps all the stuff on the emotional husband. And then the emotional husband is the support system. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But the husband kind of gets away with murder.
Oh.
So what happened was I had got into that cycle.
Oh.
And so look, I'm a social worker. I'm a good friend. I'm a good listener. I'm a good communicator. So instead of my female friends working things out with their husbands, they just dump all the toxicity on me. So I had to learn, Khalid, you cannot be, because what it is you're a mistress. You're a male mistress, right? So mine is the intimacy part, the physical intimacy. But you're getting everything that the husband should be getting.
Oh.
And because they have a dysfunctional relationship, you get it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Wow. That's powerful.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow. We got some.
If you ask a lot of men who have female friends, they'll tell you in some form or fashion they've had to be unemotional husbands.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that something a woman should ask her husband if he has an emotional wife? Not that he would tell the truth.
You can best believe if a man has a close female friend, more than likely her emotional husband. But they have to be close. It's not just a friend who's a co-worker per se. Or, just kind of like a neighbor. It's a friend where they have it's like a brother and sister relationship, meaning they're really close. But it's not sexual, not at all. But it's the person that woman turns to for the male support. Okay. Wow. It looks different from woman to woman support. It looks different. It's like, well, the men, you're married. I'm your close male friend. Going through things with your husband. So you come and tell me about it. And I'm giving you a lot of insight. Well, Zelda, you got to do this. You got to do that. Well, what happens is, instead of like it just being healthy like that, it's more so you're complaining about him all the time. And I'm listening all the time. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And it's like nothing is still going right in the marriage, but I'm just getting fed all the information. Okay. Wow. You know? Wow. It could be vice versa as well. It could be my woman can have a male friend who's married. And she's getting all, instead of him telling his wife everything, he just kind of dumps all the stuff on the female friend. So I'm seeing a lot of that happening now. You know? And again, it goes back to we need to have healthier relationships. Where you can communicate and freely communicate. But that's not always the case. Wow. Oh, this is so enlightening. I'm glad you decided to come on the show this week. Let's get some calls here. 773-737. I'm learning a lot. I know if I'm learning, they're learning too. 773-737. You're live on the Female Solution Grand Rising. What's your name and what's your comment for our guest speaker today, Khalid Scott?
Well, hallelujah, greetings, Global Trust.
Mama D! Yes!
Yes. I'm just trying to wrap my brain around what he's saying and tying it into what was said earlier. It's like looking at life through a rear view mirror. But I think what happens is if the unresolved conflict, you just say, well, let's just go on from here. And when you look at what's happening in Congress today, it didn't start 4 years ago with Donald Trump. It started 400 years ago.
Amen. Amen. Teach, Mama D.
Unresolved conflict.
Yes, ma'am.
You know?
Yes, ma'am.
So,
absolutely.
And the fact
constantly told, just move on. But it's like you said, if you don't have that honest conversation, what keeps recycling is that old stuff that's causing you to fight fire with fire instead of fair with fair.
I love that. Fight. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
And I think that's really what happens, and you never get over that. And like you said, this if you've got an emotional relationship going on, my fourth husband and I were on the Oprah Winfrey show, and we were guest panelists. And so the subject was, can you be of the opposite sex and have a close relationship with a male? So one of the people in the audience said, well, that's mental intercourse.
Oh, really?
And so would you address that?
Wow. Mental intercourse.
Ooh. You got it. Okay. Please address that.
Who said that, Mama D?
It was a person sitting in the audience.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So my comment was, I had a relationship with a close friend that we were more than friends, but we were less than lovers. Oh. And what he raised his hand from the audience and said, he said, oh, well, that's mental intercourse.
Wow.
I think that's what that emotional relationship that you're talking about.
It's exactly it. That's exactly it. That's just another name for it. Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. Mental intercourse is the mental example of what physical intercourse would look like. So I feed your mind. I love your mind. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I energy your mind instead of just being the physical, the body. It's more the mind intercourse. Absolutely. And that could be even worse. Ooh. Because that could be lasting. It's lasting.
Wow.
Physical intercourse, you have the act and it's over with. Mental, it stays with you.
Wow.
It stays with you.
Wow.
If you're in a counseling situation and you're not honest about the
having that type of relationship. I say with that example, the husband had been out here cheating. I asked him on the first session, is this your first time stepping out of a relationship? He looked me dead in my eye and said yes.
Oh.
And I knew it wasn't the truth. It wasn't my place as a therapist to say it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because he had to say it. He had to own it first, then say it out loud. And eventually, a few months later, it came out. But think about if he would have been honest and transparent that first session, we could have worked on it. And now they're about to divorce. And that just tells you the price we pay when we when we continue the hurt. I mean, let me explain this to you. When people are hurt and damaged, it lasts for generations. The thing, my grandfather back in the 50s used to beat and cheat on my grandmother, right?
Okay.
Now, that was 70 years ago. My family is still dealing with the aftermath of what my granddaddy did.
Really?
70 years later, my grandfather had 5 kids outside the marriage.
Oh.
Had 5 kids outside the marriage.
Oh.
So here it is. I have aunties and uncles who I don't even know.
Oh my goodness.
You had me my auntie.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I see. Okay, I get that. Wow.
Because one person decided to do to another person, instead of my grandfather being loving to my grandmother, he put his hands on her and he went out and slept. And not only did he sleep with other women, he slept with 2 of my grandmother's friends.
Talk about Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Yeah, he doubled the hurt.
Okay.
How can that not have long-lasting effect?
Wow.
How can it not?
That's why biblically it says the sins of the parents are visited on the children and the generations. And that's true.
Vieta Robinson, my sister of the microphone, Sunday night, Soul Purpose Healing, and Friday, Health and Wellness, says mental intercourse could also be a way to lift someone out of depression. That's food for thought. We're going to comment on that when we come back. It's 8:32. We got to take our next commercial break, so you all just stay close with us, and we'll be right back on The Female Solution. And I don't know why my 515-605-9325, press 1 to speak.
I'm Beata, your holistic life coach. These days, it's more important than ever to work on your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Are you consciously breathing deeply in stressful moments? Do you have a plan or daily routine to maintain balance in your awesome body? Are you struggling to be disciplined in your eating habits? When you partner with me, I'll help you develop a personalized health plan that works for your particular lifestyle. You can find out more about me at yourholisticlifecoach.com, where you can also review my 3-step protocol to guide you to abundant health. That's yourholisticlifecoach.com, and I'm Beata.
Hi, I'm Dr. CJ of Bologna Health, where we combine orthopedic manual therapy and neuroscience to treat the whole person. Our tip for the day is keep it moving. Doesn't matter how, just keep it moving doing something you enjoy. Walking, dancing, rolling on the floor with your dogs or kids, really anything. The body craves movement to keep its bones, joints, and muscles happy. Even our mental health and internal organs and digestive system rely on our movement. Thanks for being a part of the Higher Learning Network, The Female Solution.
Oh man, God sent the monthly sun bill today. This sunlight is really expensive, especially during
Dr.
the season.
CJ Mimi.
I'll probably have to work overtime to pay it.
Well, you better pay it on time. We don't want the sun to go out and we're sitting up here all day in the dark. Wouldn't it be terrible if God charged us for sunlight? Well, thank God, the light and heat from the sun is free. So why are we paying such high bills for the energy we use in our homes? Because we don't know how to use solar energy, the free energy from the sun. You can convert your regular home to a solar energy home and save tremendously on your electric bill. Take a look at your electric bill. Wouldn't you like to reduce or possibly even eliminate that cost altogether? Let one of our solar consultants show you how. Call today, 312-849-3456, and schedule a free consultation. That's 312-849-3456. yes, any of these questions, help is available. Don't worry, you're not alone. It's part of the human process. And when you feel this way because you haven't mastered the voices in your head. No hype, just down to earth, solid, simple, proven techniques that you can practice daily. It's really food for the soul. Whether you want to learn how not to worry about anything, reverse type 2 diabetes, reduce sugar, promote the product or service, or just make extra money. To take advantage of the deal of the day, go to wellnesspeaks.com or call 312-409-6619. Mention promo code for female solution and get free shipping. That's wellnesspeaks.com or 312-409-6619. Stop worrying today. Visit wellnesspeaks.com.
And we're going to go to the phone lines, 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak after you address this question that Naima Latif asked question. If a married person is finding mental or emotional fulfillment with someone else other than their spouse, is this considered infidelity, even if there's no sexual relationship involved?
Okay, the short answer is yes.
Short answer is yes. And the long answer is yes too. It said there is no way around it.
Right, and let me explain why. And let's have broad talk.
Okay.
What happens is when it comes to sex, men are very physical minded.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's the physicality that gets us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Typically, now, and of course it could go for women as well, of course. But typically, a woman is aroused first with her mind.
Thank you.
Then the body follows.
Yes.
Okay? So, if I'm talking to a married woman and I am mentally stimulating her, and that's a power that us men know we have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me mentally stimulate you first, and then what happens is the rest will follow. I don't even have to be a Morris Chestnut looking guy, but if I can stimulate you mentally first, it will make you want me. Because I've got in tune with your emotions, your feelings, your thought process, and everything else that goes with that. So absolutely can be seen as infidelity. The only part is it's just not physical. So absolutely. So you can be sitting there with your husband, but you'll be sitting there thinking about conversations you had with me.
With who?
So wouldn't that be the same as if you had intercourse and you're sitting there with your spouse, but you're thinking about the other person?
Yes.
It's the same thing.
Wow.
It's the same thing.
The only difference is there's no penetration.
Absolutely.
Wow.
But no, take that back. The words have penetration.
The words. Okay, there's a mental penetration. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a mental penetration.
And see, this is why couples have to learn to lean on each other. That's why they say that when you're going through stuff in your marriage, be mindful who you bring in. Like that couple I was describing to you.
Right.
When we first started doing therapy, they made an agreement that they were not going to tell any family or friends about the baby that was on the way. Because they knew if they let their family and friends know about this, it was going to be added. Negativity.
So would you say that mental?
Let's wait for the baby. Their thing was, let's wait till the baby is born, and then let's get the DNA test. After the DNA test, then we'll know if we have to tell your friend. Okay. And sure enough, when the DNA test was back and he was the dad, the wife ran and told her sister, who then told her, I know your husband has been out here cheating on you. That's how we found out that he cheated, because her sister knew
Yes.
We don't even know what our family and friends know sometimes.
Wow.
You know?
So
it's a lot. It's a lot going on.
So
There's a lot going on. And again, COVID has brought out a lot of dysfunction. Because again, like we said in other shows, you had to learn to sit there all day long with the person who you really didn't know or who you took for granted. So we so used to the hustle and bustle of our lives. We get up, we go to work, we come home, eat dinner. Maybe we don't even eat dinner together. You're in the man cave eating dinner. I'm upstairs in the bedroom eating dinner. The kids in their bedroom playing games, doing homework, eating dinner. We don't even eat dinner as a family. And then we go to sleep and do it all over again.
And my husband standing
up. Weekends, I'm thinking.
My husband standing up there. He's standing in the kitchen going. He's agreeing with you.
Right. So the thing is, we've been used to our dysfunctionality.
Yes.
But now COVID made us have to sit next to each other.
Ooh. And that's why your business is booming. That's why your business is booming.
Yesterday. Right. And yesterday was so amazing. I'm on Facebook. Now, I'm a pretty popular guy. Because I know a whole lot of people, and it's funny. I'm looking at all the couples posting their Valentine's Day, and half the people I know, the husband is cheating.
Oh,
it's miserable.
Oh,
on Facebook yesterday,
the husband is cheating.
They making all of us single people feel bad.
Yeah,
because I'm with my honey boo boo,
right?
And he cooked me dinner, or she made me. She decorated the house full of roses and balloons. And I'm like, this is what gets us in trouble. This is what gets us in trouble.
I'm so glad.
Not being real.
I'm so glad you said that. We're going to go to the phone lines in just a minute. 706-202 will be with you in just a minute. But I have got to read this, what I wrote probably 20 years ago in my third book, Inspirational Conversations with Shalom with Israel, February 14th. Happy Nurture Yourself Day. I never say happy Valentine's Day in that respect, because, and when I read this, you'll understand why. Today and every day is one of the best days of your love life. That's February 14th. Live it as if it were your last. Do not wait on the roses, the dinner, the party, the candy, or the call. Love your own self today by doing the things you want someone else to do for and with you. If you can't be happy by or with yourself, what makes you think he, she, or it will make it any better? True love does not come wrapped, bathed, or clothed in anything. True love will pour from your being, your inner being, like an age-old wine waiting for the cork to pop. So today, pop your own cork. Love yourself as no one else can, because nobody knows you better than you. Hug yourself and tell yourself, I love you. As my husband would say, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Happy Self-Nurture Day. And that's from February 14th, Inspirational Conversations with Shalom with Israel, aka Zelda Speaks. That's my contribution to Valentine's Day. Because we spend too much time, way too much time on the outer surface stuff that don't even matter. You know, the candies and the cookies and it's all a distraction from being who you really are. Let's go to the phone line. 706-202. You're live on the Female Solution Grand Rising. What's your name? Oh, I know who you are. I think that's Baba Kwame Sunhorse, all the way down in Georgia. Could you please send us some that sun? Because look at out the window. It is snowing like crazy. Baba Kwame, can you please send us some sun? Grand Rising.
All right, Grand Rising. We don't have any. We have rain and cool weather.
Well, we'll take that. We'll take it.
Yeah. So, and I
I came in kind of tail end of it when they were talking about the sex and the mental intimacy. The thing of it is what you wrote is a part of what, because it flashed back to Leo Pascalia, who wrote a book called Love, and he says, "Learn to live each day as though it were your last." That was one of his famous things.
Okay.
And the part of it is what we're talking about is intimacy. The word in itself says it. Intimacy. What do you see in me? How do I love you? And that's what you're saying when you wrote that, is that if you don't know how to love you, how can you tell someone else, even on Valentine's, that you love them? And the thing of it is that, yes, you do see love in them, but you lack it in yourself. And this is what you're looking to get from them. And that's when we talk about sex, and he was very much on point when men are physical and women are mental, because you can't have a woman unless you can make love to her mind first. Her behind won't straight, it ain't the mind. The part that we're looking at is that, and when you said that 70-year-old, because on the 24th days, I'll be officially that day, that age. But in looking back, I had to understand how to break those generational curses. My father was that abuser and that cheater, and my uncles, and I saw that. And I grew into that, but then I had to acknowledge it, because the most powerful emotion that really does something to people is called shame. Shame is the frequency in which takes the thing below shame is death. Because of a person being shameful of what they're doing, but what we have come to do is be able to hide it or mask it, but eventually that shame will come out in the actions, in the thoughts, and the things in which we will do, because he's correct. And the other thing is that in a woman can have a whole relationship in her mind and satisfy a body. A man has to find another outlet because he's physical. But this is why we have to learn to teach our children and teach ourselves what sex is. Sex is a spiritual energy exchange. It is the highest form of two spirits, of male and female spirit coming together to create another spirit that will walk on this earth. And in that way of making that spirit, if I make that spirit of a child in cheating, or I make that spirit of a child in a drunken state, or in just a lustful moment, that child will carry the energy of what we in our two bodies put together.
Yes.
Being coming to existence. So I commend my brother for doing this in the psyche, but we have to understand how to work with the spirit, which is what psychic means, psychology means. It really comes from the word of spirit. And how do we understand how to work with the spirit? So the mind is nothing but an air traffic controller, because all the other brains in the body are connected to the mind. So the mind is what controls what grew the body, because your brain grew everything that you work with.
Wow.
It's the spiritual, the soul that connects and gives it, and that begins the heartbeat. And then once that comes, and then the breath of life when you come through the birth canal, because I have 3 grandchildren. Well, I have 2 grandchildren. One was born yesterday, one is born today, and my daughter is born tomorrow. And so it's looking at that and thinking down. That granddad was this type of person, a drunken alcoholic and a cheater. But look what granddad has done and changed, because it's by example that I can begin to help change that course of generational curses.
Wow. That's powerful. Thank you, Baba Kwame Sunhorse, all the way from Georgia. He didn't stop the snow, but he definitely put something on our minds this morning. That's powerful. Thank you so much. I love that. I love it. Intimacy. Into me. XEX. A spiritual energy exchange. He always brings it home. Go ahead. Wow, that's powerful. Thank you, Baba. I want to pose the question to our listening and viewing audience. What do you think makes a difference in the quality of a relationship, a marriage? Is it the sexual energy or is it the mental energy? Can you answer that question, Khalid?
Sure. See, stimulated mentally, again, your body will follow.
Mm.
Your body will follow. And that's for men and women. I think of that. Think about it. Have you ever heard somebody who was so intelligent and so thought-provoking that you sat back and was like, wait a minute, why am I feeling kind of aroused? Why am I feeling kind of turned on?
Oh.
It's because they hit that stimulus part of you in your brain that says, wow, hey, I'm deeper. I have more contact. I have more substance. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And vice versa. Have you sat with somebody who seemed like it could be a Looney Tune and you was like, oh my God, I want to run fast right now. I am so not attracted to that.
Okay.
It's just lunacy right there. Let me get away from there. So what happens is, if you are mentally stimulated, if you are feeling loved, valued, and supported, then your body will follow. You know?
Right.
A young lady telling me that this is my younger days in doing therapy. And I remember a coworker was telling me that she was upset with her husband and that they had not been intimate. And I said, well, and of course I'm a young man, I'm thinking, well, how hard is it for y'all to just kiss and hug and then let the rest happen? Like Khalid, for us women, we have to be stimulated. You know what I'm saying? It has to come from within.
Right.
And I was like, but remember, men, it doesn't take up that much. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know? And so, but her explanation made me start thinking like, wow, you have to go deeper. So that's why when relationships are having a roller coaster ride, that's why women tend to be very hurt, very damaged, because they have the depth of the relationship that's in them. And trust and believe, men have it too, but our armor looks a little different. And we've been taught to do different. So, like, let me give you an example. A woman can be heartbroken multiple times by multiple men. For us men, the first woman who broke her heart, after her, that is it. Nobody else will get inside that deep ever again to break my heart. Now, if you think I'm lying, talk to any man you know, and he will tell you. After that first heartbreak, we learn this lesson. Like, because one, men don't like being vulnerable. We hate vulnerability. We hate it because it makes us feel that we don't have control.
Okay.
That we can't operate. So if somebody makes me feel that vulnerable, that could be wicked to us. And we don't ever want to go through that again. So what happens is we go into new relationships with our guards up. Now it may not look like our guard is up, but it's up.
Okay.
And it's going to take a lot of work from that new woman to say, come on, let it down, let the force feel down, let me in.
We got a couple of questions.
So,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
sure.
Go ahead and finish that thought. Vieta Robinson says in African cultures, men love more than one woman. How do we bring balance to that history or truth?
We don't.
Oh,
Just accept it.
There is no balance. Just
Well, the men are going to cheat. There is not no woman, no Jesus Christ is going to ever stop it. Only that individual man can stop himself. But you will never find a cure for infidelity. And there's no cure for it.
It's an inside job.
You have to tell it's an inside job.
Dr. O says sex is the highest form of energy. Thank you, Dr. O.
Absolutely.
My physical therapist. And Naima Latif says, a lot of people who are in relationships where they are cohabitating with someone and say that because they are not legally married, if they get emotionally and or sexually involved with another person, it's not cheating because they aren't married. What do you think about those kind of relationships?
Those are the relationships that we have false imagery of, or we tell ourselves false stories to make us feel better. To make us feel better. So it's like when you're single and you say, well, I have to get married. I don't want to be in a relationship. Of course, you're going to say that because it makes you feel good at the time. Right. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to be cherished by somebody else. That's human nature.
Right.
But you have to do things depending on your situation to help you get through it. So for people in those kind of relationships, it's just saying that, well, it hurts if I really have some true acceptance for how this relationship is. So let me make myself feel better by telling me this is okay. If you are in any type of relationship with someone, you do not want that person to cheat on you.
Right.
Even in friendship.
Right.
If it's a friendship, me, you, and Sally Sue. Me and you don't want Sally Sue to go and tell our business to the world.
Absolutely.
That'll be a betrayal.
That's right.
So with every relationship, we do not want the person who we care about to hurt us.
We're about to go off the air, but we're going to stay on at 9:00 and do the after show, and you're more than welcome to stay. I know you have to go, but you're more than welcome to stay. If you're on the switchboard, 515-605-9325, press 1 to speak. Press it now, because when the show ends at 9, we won't be able to see that you've pushed the number 1, and you won't be able to speak. So please push 1 right now if you'd like to speak. I believe Baba Kwame Sunhorse would like to speak, and 312-823. We'll get to you in a minute. 773-737. We'll get to you as well. Are you going to be able to stay with us, or are you leaving, Khalid?
I'll stay a few more minutes.
Okay. Okay. He'll stay a few more minutes. Baba Kwame Sunhorse, you wanted to comment again?
Yes, and I thank Dr. Khalid for what he emphasized about his saying about the woman and the man and his vulnerability and putting up the wall to his heart. Because, and I have to say and own this, my mother was the first one to broke my heart.
Oh.
Hard. That was a hard thing to allow another woman to come into my life.
Oh.
And be able to deal with that because of the relationship of that woman that she came through. And having that challenge of forgiving and then understanding what was the reason for those things in which caused me to feel that way from her. So in and of itself, we have to define those people that we say that are the cause of it. And like he said, it's an inside job. And that's why I said it's about dealing with the spiritual and the mind. because we come to them, but we don't belong to them. I had to
Wow.
get a greater love for my creative source and know that it's through my divine that helped me to heal my mind.
Mm.
And these are the things in which, were the process of learning for me to begin to make the change that I wanted to see in myself. So I commend him for the counseling and the part, and we have to talk about this because mental health is perpetuated from when we crossed the water and were brought here, and the challenges of things that we went through. And when to asking the question about having an extra wife, it was culturally correct, but it was the woman chooses the second wife because she knows what she gives to you, and she will know better to say what will be good for us if we're going to do this.
Wow.
He is taking on the helper.
Ah, and that's a different perspective to look at it that way. Vieta Robinson says, are people in polygamy relationships practicing infidelity, or is it just wrong? Khalid, you want to comment on that? Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. See, the thing is, it may not be seen as infidelity if it's an agreed upon. Nah, but that's how you look at things. For me, if it's a relationship with two people and you bring others in, it is infidelity. It's just that you agreed upon it, as versus the person sneaking away and doing it. But that's me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Somebody else may say, well, if the person I'm in a relationship with is agreement and this, then my thing is, why would anybody agree to that? Is it that because I know you're gonna do it anyway, and I just wanna placate you, or is it, you know what? Okay, then you can do it. That means I can do it. But see, they even did a study with people who did menage a trois and stuff like that. And what happens is it was mostly one partner trying to please the other partner. And they just kind of went along with the get along. The reality is a relationship is amongst two people. You know what I'm saying? And that when you bring others to intrude on that, then you're setting yourself up. And that's just real talk. That's just real talk. I don't think no woman wants her husband to lay down with another woman.
I don't think
I
so
don't think
either.
no man wants his woman to lay down with another man.
Right.
But the thing is, this world and this society has given us permission. Look how many TV shows and movies been made about mistresses.
Yes.
Look how the side chick has been made popular now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when you really break it down, it's tearing our communities up. It's tearing our families apart. You know, I got buddies now who belong to multiple dating sites. Why? One of my buddies, he goes after married women.
Oh.
Because he doesn't want the commitment.
Okay.
So I get with a married woman, what happens? We have our fun, and then she got to go home.
Ah. Okay.
Think about the mindset of a mistress. He comes, be with me, and then he has to go back home to his wife.
Right.
So I don't have to do none of the wife stuff.
Right.
I'm not obligated to do any of the wife stuff. I just have my fun, and then he goes home. So, again, we're setting ourselves up. And we got to stop. And now we're teaching our kids to do this. Well, I'm in here, your niece is 18 years old. That girl just came up here and made a tuna casserole the other day. Why? Because I want my daughter to know how to be somebody's wife one day. I want her to know how to take care of my house. I want her to know how to cook.
Yes.
Because intellect and her career, that's a given. She's gonna be phenomenal at that.
Right.
But how you can be phenomenal on the outside of your house, but come home and your house is in ruins?
Right.
Because you don't know how to mop a floor, or you don't know how to cook for your husband and your kids, and or vice versa.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So
I truly
back to
do.
the basics with my kids.
Right.
I'm going to the basics. I'm preparing her to be somebody's wife one day. And I hope somebody is preparing their son to be her husband one day.
And not only that, but to be self-sufficient and to be able to take care of herself. We got a couple of more. We got a couple of more calls here. We're going to go to the phone lines if you want to take one. 312-823.
Yes, this is Rashida.
Hi, Rashida.
Grand Rising.
Grand Rising. What's your comment as it relates to the questions today?
Well, I have a statement. I think that what do you call it? Polygamy. Was created. Yeah, I think it was created because of the simple fact always been women having more than one husband and more than one wife and all that because of lust and greed, you know. And then you have people who are mythomania. So rather than let them go out there and have sex with any and everybody, then come back home and spread the disease or more problems within the household. And polygamy is a good idea for those types of minds. But another thing I think is that we need to actually have what you call cultural representation and gender. It indicates concerns with one of the areas where women's studies begin critical work and cultural representation. So it's been, in my opinion, it's been a cultural industry that has been neglected. So divorced women and etc. Doesn't get the representation that they should, especially. And so we need to have something. Somebody's going to have profession knowledge enough to have to generate that type of cultural representation and gender representation.
Okay, you want to comment on that, Khalid? Brother Khalid? Did we lose him? We may have. He is, did I accidentally?
Hello?
Yes, you're here live. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I accidentally muted you.
Okay. No problem. Well, she disagreed with me then. That when you think about the foundation of why this exists, it's not because, this is something that's going to make us better. It's going to be more community-based or build a better village. It's out of lust and greed. Like you just said. It's something that somebody benefits because of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And when you do things that's going to benefit only you, then there's not going to be good outcome.
Say
it's not
that.
Going to be good outcome. A relationship again.
It's a two-way street.
If me and you are best friends, that's between two people.
Right.
Belda and Khalid.
Right.
The more you bring more people in, it dilutes the depth.
Yes.
Think about that.
Yes.
Think about that.
Yes. Too many cooks in the kitchen.
The thing is that, right. The thing is, we got to first, like you said earlier, you got to work on the holistic you.
Yes.
We got to get you holistic. Belda, you wouldn't know how many couples I don't see divorce or friends, they getting ready to divorce. The husband got a new woman already before the divorce papers.
Before the ink dry. So why is it that men can't stand to be alone? What is that about? Why men can't stand to be alone? They just have to have a woman.
We're not taught to be alone. Why should we? We grow up with grandmamas and grannies and mamas and aunties and sisters who take care of us.
Right.
And that makes us feel good, correct?
Okay.
We have school teachers who take care of us, right?
Right.
Then we go out in the world, and then we have woman after woman after woman. So men have been told, in order for me to feel fulfilled, in order for me to feel that I matter, I gotta have somebody next to me. I don't know how to operate by myself because I never had to be by myself. But what happens is you don't ever fix the dysfunctionality that messed up the previous relationship because you haven't took time to reflect and meditate and say, hey, let me do this differently now. I lost Diane because I was this way. Now I'm in a relationship with Felicia. I will lose her too. Excuse me, the same way I lost Diane because I never got a chance to fix what the issue was in the first place.
I'm so glad you said that.
My baggage to the next.
I'm so glad you said that. I saw a movie last night. Can't remember the name of it, but there was a lady who was dating 3 guys. Beautiful sister. What society has said a beautiful sister is: long, black, flowing hair, had a good, successful job, making 6 figures, had her own house, drove a big BMW. But she was in 3 short-term relationships where she was devastated because none of those men asked her to marry them. And I thought this was so cool. Her best friend, who was a videographer, asked her, why don't we go back and ask those men why they didn't propose to you? Oh my goodness. Was that not a good movie? And she discovered, because the one that she really wanted told her that she was a bitch. After, but it's powerful. You got to see the whole movie because he wasn't lying. And in her filming that documentary, it was very painful for her to realize. She went back to all 3 men. I got to go find the name of this movie. I'm going to post it on my social media when I find it. In the course of this discovery, where she's going back to interview these 3 guys who did not propose to her, she discovered some things about herself that she did not like. All the things that these men said about her were true, and she had to accept that. And she was so depressed about it. But it made her a better person. I'm going to find that movie and I'm going to come back and share it with you. But the point of the story is that sometimes, most oftentimes, it is very painful to hear the truth. Because my husband tells me the truth all the time. And, I just blow it off. I'm like, I don't want to see that child. Tony will tell you in a minute. Don't let me talk too loud because he'll be in it. Yeah, I tell her all the time. Because I know I'm a witch sometimes, but I'm stuck in me and I don't want to hear the confrontation that tells me I'm less than who I think I am. So I understand. I understand that. Viata Robinson says biblical relationships included more than one wife. Modern society doesn't understand plural relationships that can help individuals grow and get rid of jealousies. Oh, Lord have mercy. No, we ain't ready.
I want to comment on that.
Please do.
A healthy community is one in which everybody is connected. Everybody feels a part. Everybody's in a family. The reason why we have situations in our community where we can see young people go out and carjack and rob and steal, they feel disconnected. They don't feel a part of, unless they're a part of one of those street organization families in which a lot of the crime activity emanates, because that's a means of survival. And so when we have families that are fragmented, we create people who feel disconnected. And being a school teacher, and if I've told you all this story before, I don't have Alzheimer's. I'm just telling it for people who haven't said it before in front of. But when I was teaching school, and I kept seeing a pattern of fatherless homes. And from kindergarten all the way to 8th grade, all the way to 12th grade, I was seeing children distraught because their parents were not together. And I did this one assignment in which I had the students write a letter to the person who had made them most angry. And I would say out of 100 students, maybe 70% of them wrote to fathers because they were angry that the fathers had left their mothers.
Wow.
You know, and just doing the statistics, I saw that 85% of young people who end up in prison come from fatherless homes. So it really was distressing seeing that the major problem was an absence of men. And we know that the reason why a lot of men are gone, a lot of them, you know, drug addiction, alcoholism, whatever the case may be, they're not there. So now, you know, I've, for the last 35 years, have been a member of an international Muslim community. And in that particular faith, that particular belief is an explanation of the family cultural lifestyle of polygamy. And one of the reasons why it was regulated, it was explained, was after a major war had taken away a lot of the men, and there were a lot of widows with young children, a lot of orphans and no families. So the decree was given, the revelation given, which is part of the scriptural teachings of the Holy Quran, is that a man may marry up to 4 women. And this was for the purpose of taking care of the orphans, so that children could be raised in a family that included a mother and a father, and there wouldn't be so many single mothers struggling, because there was no welfare system at that time. You didn't have money, you just out on the street, and there wouldn't be so many homeless orphan children. So it was to provide family stability. So I got the inspiration to write a book. Became very controversial. The book, The Female Solution. And in it, I was giving a lot of examples of the animal kingdom in which you might have 1 or 2 males and many females, but the whole structure was one of family. And I gave different examples, you know, lions, wolves, you know, buffalo, all of that, to make a point that it's about family. It's about inclusion. And the ultimate reason is for the protection of children, which we don't have, which is why we got 14-year-olds out with guns carjacking. You know, where's their family? They don't have one. And so even seeing the destruction of the children, the distraught children that were coming out of homes where they felt abandoned, their fathers weren't there, I said, well, this is a cultural lifestyle that we can consider adopting if women can understand the need to cooperate. Well, in the 13 years since I've written this book, I've discovered a lot of things emotionally, the reason why this is difficult for people, number one, not raised in that culture, and number two, already emotionally wounded so that they are not able to be married partners, period. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that many of us coming out of dysfunctional families where there was infidelity, there was dishonesty. And so people weren't able to make the mental and emotional difference between a man lying to his wife about being faithful when in fact he had another relationship, and a group of people coming together to be family for the collective raising of children. Even though African culture may have even expressed that, it wasn't always done in a way that was beneficial to women, even in African culture. Because in the ideal sense, and the way it's described in the Holy Quran, there is number one, equal status of all the women. There is not this hierarchy where you my woman and you my side piece. There isn't that. We are family. We're collectively taking care of our children. We are sharing responsibilities, whatever business or enterprise we have as a family. We are all a part of that. That concept, you have to be of a certain spiritual nature to even understand that concept of sharing responsibilities and sharing love. we have a misunderstanding of what love is. We think love is possession. Love is not possession. Love is the desire for the well-being of another. When we can truly love unconditionally, that means we love another woman enough to allow her to experience the peace, the comfort, the security of a family for her and her children. If we love our husband, we love him enough to know that he's going to love us, and love is not exclusive. It's just like a family where you have one child and you love that child, and you have another child. So if the first child is jealous of the second child, and you're giving all your attention to the second child and making that first child feel abandoned, well, of course, you're going to create a disharmony between the children. But if you love them equally and they're all participating in the family, then there is no sibling rivalry. So us not having the capacity to comprehend a different culture where everybody is included makes it very difficult to even comprehend the concept in here, even though I present a lot of examples of how it works when you have an imbalance in the number of male to female. But it really comes down to our emotions and the fears that we have. And when you have a woman who's grown up in a household where her father was not there, she's already feeling fears of abandonment by a male. So she's not emotionally equipped to even accept or comprehend the thought of her husband or a man she loves also loving another woman. And then what I found out in my observation and research, men are not equipped for this kind of relationship when they grow up in this culture, because they also can't perceive the difference between a purely sexual relationship where there is no emotional attachment and a emotional, spiritual commitment to another human being. And many men who have these multiple relationships, they're not committed or attached to any of them. They're relationships out of convenience. They're either ego driven. Oh, she's pretty, I can get sex.
Yes.
But it isn't that deep spiritual commitment. So yeah, they can have a multiplicity of those, and none of them are relationships where they would marry, because their intention is to remain detached. So I discovered that before we could even consider the kind of spiritual relationship where there are multiple partners involved, we first have to heal what's inside of ourselves that does not allow us to truly love in the sense of what love is.
Has that been your experience too, Khalid, in your counseling for your clients?
What part are you talking about?
Any of what she just said. There was so much.
Men who are in multiple relationships because their intention is to remain detached.
Yeah. Repeat that, Naim. I don't know if you heard it. Repeat that, Naim. He didn't hear you.
Men who are in multiple relationships with women because their real intention is to remain detached. They fear commitment, and so their reason is to have these multiple relationships where they're not really committed emotionally to any of them because they fear, as it was said earlier, fear getting hurt.
Okay. Let me address that on several layers. People often ask, why do men cheat? And what happens is, it depends on the man you ask. All of us have different intentions, right? Some men cheat because this is what I was taught. You heard that the caller earlier who said, my dad did it, my granddaddy did it, all my uncles did it. So as a young man growing up, that's all I saw how the men did their wives. So why wouldn't I have done it? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So some men think it's a rite of passage. Other men do it because the opportunity is always there. If you and your husband could go back to y'all both be 25 years old, you wouldn't believe how many of your close girlfriends would probably hit on your husband. 25?
I ain't got to wait 25. They hit on him now. They tell me all the time. It's like, I don't even want to hear. I don't want to hear it. But I was like, no names are necessary. Women, dirty women do what dirty women do. And I don't want to walk around with an attitude because I understand their plight.
Mm-hmm.
But I really don't want to know who they are. I don't want to know who they are. That's not important.
Right. So then men have opportunity.
Right.
Then the example I gave, I got heartbroken, the first person who I love. So here from here on out, no woman will ever have that much power over me.
Ooh.
And how I will make sure that happens, I will do what Naima just said. I'm gonna cheat because let me hurt you before you hurt me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So there's so many reasons why men step out.
Yeah.
And the thing is now, guess what? Women are stepping out now.
Wounded spirits, wounded ego.
Same reasons, you know, wounded, as you said. And so the difference between, at the point Beata was bringing up, the difference between the polygynous relationships where men have multiple wives and the player, more or less, the one that's just got a bunch of women. And the polygynous relationship, the man is committed to all of the women. And the other relationship, the man is committed to none of the women. So just having sex with someone is not a relationship. That's an experience. It's not a relationship. If you're involved in a relationship, it's mind, body, spirit. It is the emotional involvement. It's the intellectual involvement. It's the physical involvement. And if you have relationships with more than one partner, and it's the legitimate thing in terms of that culture, then there is respect for all of the feelings involved. In this culture, there isn't any precedent for how to do that because our thought is you can only be emotionally attached to one person. But as was said earlier in the show, you have people who are married to somebody, but they have an emotional relationship with someone else. And that's very difficult if the person who's the married partner isn't the one that the spouse is emotionally tied to. If you're always on the phone with another person, you're always hanging out with another person, but you come home to this other person and you don't have to speak to them, but you live in the same house and that's your spouse.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of friction in that relationship because they know that the part of you that's you're sharing with someone else.
Right. So, yes, but we all need to hold on for just a moment because I can see this call is going to go to 10 o'clock. At 9:25, I was supposed to announce the winner of our global virtual teen talent contest. And we have on the line with us the number 2 winner of the round 3, because there's a round every month, of the Teen Talent Contest, and her name is Sophia Castellano. Did I get that right, Sophia?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So not only are you the winner, but we get a chance for you to chime in on Love Hurts. And should it hurt? That's our topic for today. So I do want you to participate because you are a teen and you are experiencing your relationships in a whole new way that maybe I'm sure it is different from ours. But first, I just want to say kudos to you. Let us give her a big round of applause for being winner number 2 for the 2013. I'm sorry, 2013. Lord have mercy. Did I say 2013? I meant 2021. I don't know where to. I think 2013. Well, no, that's a whole nother show. 2021 winner of the Higher Learning Network Global Teen Talent Contest, in which she was the second place winner. She will be speaking with us today. And Sophia Castellanos, would you please grace us with your words of encouragement? And how does it feel to be winner number 2?
Well, I think it's really inspiring. I think Higher Learning Network is a really inspiring community, and so I'm really excited that I get to have that opportunity.
I am so sorry, you were breaking up. Can you please repeat that again?
Yeah, can you hear me better?
We hear you now, yes.
All right. I just said that I'm so thankful I get to have that opportunity and be a part of the community. Higher Learning Network is so inspiring, and I'm really thankful for that.
And I'm very grateful that you are such a young lady who has talent and not afraid to come on a live TV show and share that information, would you also like to share two things? Just a little note of your beautiful voice. And number two, what do you think about today's conversations about relationships? And are they painful? Should they hurt? So please.
Yeah, I think part of a relationship is there's also going to be pain. So I think it's important to talk about it because it's something that we are going to experience. So kind of bringing awareness to that is really important.
Wonderful. Words of wisdom from our youth. And how old are you, my dear?
I'm 13.
Wow. Okay.
You're how old?
13.
And that kind of wisdom at the age of 13. I wasn't thinking anything like that at the age of 13. Wow. Yeah. The voice that you hear is Khalid Scott, our veteran. He's been practicing mental health before you were even born. So the fact that you have such words of wisdom at such a young age is simply phenomenal. And I congratulate you and continue to do the work that you do in your community and showcasing your talent. Would you like to give us just a sample for those who are watching and viewing it here on the Higher Learning Network?
Yeah. Would you like me to sing a little part of the song?
Yes, please, if you would be so kind. So I would like you to announce your name, your age, and the name of your song.
All right, so I'll sing a little part about it. So I'm Sofia Castellanos. I'm 13, and the song that I wrote is called You Are Not Alone. It's dedicated to the frontline healthcare workers for all they're doing during this time, and just kind of reminding them that we're so thankful for them and that they are not alone in this journey. So I'll sing a first little beginning snippet of it.
Wonderful.
You are stronger than you think, braver than you know. You are not alone. Even when the world is falling down, there are people all around. You are not alone. You are not alone.
Oh, bless your heart. You have a beautiful voice. I wish I could sing like that.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Congratulations to our number 2 winner, Sofia Castellanos of the round 3 for the Higher Learning Network TV show, Global Virtual Contest. And we hope that you will come back again and look for your prize. It's in the mail. And please let us know when you receive it. Can you do that, sweetheart?
Yes.
Thank you so much. And tell your mom and your parents we appreciate the work that they do to put you in this contest. And we look forward to having you again on the show again as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
You have a wonderful day. And please share and like this video with all your friends.
Of course. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, dear.
Bye.
Bye. And that's Sofia Castellano. I hope I said that right. The second winner of the global contest, in which our first prize winner will be on. We'll have an interview with him this Wednesday, and I'll show that next Monday. Okay, so if you would like to, Khalid, give us your words of wisdom for the show before it ends, because we've got some calls here and they've been waiting for a while, but I want you to have, because I know you have clients that you have to get to, but I just want you to share with us your parting words.
Okay, again, this has been a wonderful show, number one. And it just tells you how important this subject matter is about love and relationships. And what I want folks to understand, what I want folks to comprehend, and what I want folks to take to heart is that the best relationship, the best love affair that you can ever have, will have.
Come on now.
The one you have with yourself.
Say that. The Female Solution teaches unity in different family settings. Yes. Help the families and females grow. Yes.
Everything else is.
Go ahead.
Everything else is Everything else is icing on the cake.
All right.
Everything else is icing on the cake. And the thing is, the healthier you go into a relationship, the more likely that the healthier the relationship will be, especially if you choose someone who is just as or equally healthy as you are.
Yes.
For me, let me use me as an example.
Mm-hmm.
I was that guy who always chose women who were damsels in distress.
Oh.
So I'm always fixing people. Always. That's what I do for a living.
Oh.
People.
Okay.
So the thing is, if I go into relationships, fix the people, guess what? It ends up happening. When I'm down, when I'm out, when I'm white clean, then I have nobody to help fix me, pull me up, support me. Because the partner is so used to me doing all the things.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So now I look for healthy relationships. I look for healthy romantic relationships. I look for healthy relationships with my family. And I look for healthy relationships with my friends. Because again, the more you're around healthy people, the healthier you will be.
Yes.
The less you feel depleted. So again, work on you first.
Yes.
And then the rest will follow.
And working on yourself is a job. That's work.
Yes.
You operate on a different frequency when you are working on yourself. It's not we talk about those levels of energy at all times. We talk about it. And we've got to raise our level from fear, which is 3D, to 5D, which is unconditional, no judgment whatsoever. And that's a hard task. That's a challenging task because we're also judgmental.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Could I make a comment before you leave?
Please, absolutely.
Okay, and I've been listening to all of us, and we've been excellent comments. And we look at one thing that we left out for me is nature. And the planet that we're on, we have to be on this planet. And how we love Mother Earth and love ourselves is very key. Because the first community is nature. The trees and the forests and that. When we live in an environment that urban only means that you're banned from nature.
You are banned.
We're not connected to the energy of what we were brought upon, the earth. And when you have a relationship with that community, I live alone and I'm not lonely because I'm in nature and I understand the energy of Mother Earth. And I still say, if I could find a woman with half the energy that Mother Earth emits that I am living in, I would have a beautiful relationship. Because for most of us, we have been banned. We fear living and I can't be in the woods at night because we have been fear. We fear what we live on. We fear what we live on. And fear is the essence of the opposite of love. When you love to learn to love the earth as you love yourself, because that is the Creator's gift to all humans is to be on this planet. And how we treat Mother Earth is how we will look at how we treat women and ourselves. The environment is very structural because once upon a time, we had what I call oasis, our ancestor spirit is in service. When we come to it, when you have those moments where you just want to walk in the forest or walk on the path or walk by a beach, you release the energy. The earth takes care of it. It loves us even if we don't love it in the way that we should.
Wow.
Because if you ever got up one morning and you got ready to get out of your bed and Mother Earth said, "Don't you dare step on me," what would you do?
You're in trouble because you can't levitate.
Okay. Wow. Never thought about that one. Wow. What?
We have to look at how we love the earth
Mm.
and this community, this whole planet that we were gifted. When we left the womb, we were put on the earth. That was the mother that we had to reconnect to.
Mm. Mm.
Brother Kwame, refresh my memory. I'm remembering somebody on the men's discussion saying that after their mother died, they did not want to ever get close to a woman again and feel the pain of a woman leaving them. Remember who that was that shared that experience on the program?
I think, wasn't it the, I can't think of his name, Muhammad? It was the other brother.
What's his name? Rashid Salam.
Yeah, Rashid is the counselor.
I remember that was very profound, because a lot of times we don't think about someone avoiding relationships because they're in pain, and we look down on people who might have multiple relationships that appear to be shallow, but we don't realize what they're doing is protecting themselves from emotional pain. And a lot of the men in our lives are in deep emotional pain, either from fractured relationships with their mothers, or mothers that abandoned them emotionally or physically, or even passed away at an early age. And so there is pain when you think of trusting someone with your heart. And when a person's heart has been broken, and I think was said earlier, after that first heartbreak, you don't want to trust anybody with your heart again. And so the challenge is being able to heal and love again, and not have such fear that you keep people at an emotional distance. Because when you're striving to grow spiritually, you have to be able to open your heart. You have to be able to love, and you can't do it if you're in fear. So I think this is at the core of a lot of our broken relationships, where people are trying to get things from someone else without giving themselves, without giving their total heart and soul to somebody, because they're afraid of having their heart broken. So they keep people at a distance, or they won't be faithful. If the agreement is to be faithful to one, they won't do that because they don't want to get totally committed to that person and give them the power to break their heart. So they'll half be in this relationship, but then still be dabbling in this other relationship, and then still in this other relationship, so that they don't ever let anybody get close enough to them to hurt them again. That's a lot of what it is. And I think when people can recognize that's what they're doing, then they can say, well, what is it that I fear, and what pain am I avoiding? The reason why I'm not able to truly, totally love.
And as an extra comment to it, that the thing that I learned with that is, and I live in nature, I feel safer sleeping in the woods than I do in the city. Because I prefer, I was raised in that environment. I know what happened to me in that environment. And the relationship that I have with those ones that live in the, I'd rather be out with the four-legged than the two-legged.
Oh.
I know what the animals will do. I know what two-legged will do. And so I had to learn how to balance, that you are banned. No, that's why they have, and he's a psychologist, they have a new, in DSM-4, DSM-5, nature deficit disorder. It's because we have been so disconnected from nature that we have a disorder. That we fear nature, our phobia. That we fear nature, and nature is the source in which we live from.
Yes.
So when we can come to balance with ourselves, and this is why I'm working adamantly and putting together the Overground Railroad, is because I've watched men, I've watched women be repaired by bringing them into an environment that is not of the urban area, and let them reconnect to nature and begin the healing process in the natural way. And these are tools that we can use because we need to use all the tools that we can muster, because we got a lot of repairs to do.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, it's easier. The saying is, it's easier to fix a broken child than a broken adult.
Oh.
And when we bring children out of the city into environments and let them sit around a fire, cook pancakes on an open fire, and ride horses and fish in a lake, you see a different world come out of them. Even to the emotional thing that when a child puts his hand in the dirt, when you gardening, they might be hyper, but as soon as they put their hands in the earth, it calms them down.
Yes. Yes.
That is what these are the tools that the Creator gave us. And we have to come back to her, because the mother is here. We're the ones abandoning her.
Right. And I want to thank you for allowing myself and my husband to have that experience this past summer at in Nauvoo, Illinois, where we experienced our first, what was it called? Sweat Lodge?
Yes.
And unlike anything, and you know, I'm a country girl. I'm from the South, so I'm used to my feet being in the dirt, but that was a whole different kind of experience. I tell you, if you have not had the experience of being in a sweat lodge, you have not lived. And I mean that literally. You have not lived, because it takes you inside a place of you that you haven't touched before. And it just doesn't get any better than that.
And that's really where the answers are. I think for all of us who have been through life, you've been through a lot of emotional traumas. You've been through situations where no one allowed you to talk about it, so it's still pent up inside.
Mm-hmm.
And out in nature, the sun, the soil, the grass, the fresh air, all of those things are things that we need for our spiritual healing. And when you're told you can't go among people, you can't go outside, you have to stay pent up in four walls, then that psychosis still is there. We're not able to release all of the pent up pain that we're feeling, which is why we end up sick. Right. So it is important for us to get out and get that sunlight, get that fresh air, clear our minds, spend some time in solitude and reflection. It's something that First Lady Doreen Little said earlier when she spoke about the challenges of staying married. Partnership is very important for our emotional health. And what is difficult for us is the fear that someone's going to take someone away from us. That's that underlying fear that keeps people from being able to trust, being able to love. I think if we can get to a point, what has to happen in order for us to really build families and build relationships is to realize that no one can take love from you. If someone loves you, they're going to love you. And if they love you, they want the best for you. So either you're going to be partners in life where you agree, I'm going to stand by you and walk with you and be your support and your encouragement until one of us leaves this earth. If you have that kind of a partnership, that kind of agreement, then nothing should break that. Even if there is some temporary falling away where you're emotionally not yourself. Maybe you go through some things. Maybe you go through a drug problem. Maybe you go through an alcohol problem. Maybe you have an outside affair that was not agreed upon, and the other person feels a level of betrayal. But if the love is there, if your decision is, I'm going to walk with you on this journey until one of us leaves this earth, then you should have the level of forgiveness, because that's what that promise is. I'm going to be with you until the end. Mm-hmm. And when you have that, that should bring you a certain level of peace and comfort. But what we have is we have an absence of forgiveness, and we think that I'm going to punish you because how dare you do this to me? And no one's doing anything to you. They're doing something because of what's inside of them. Right. That's the biggest thing for us to understand. When whatever somebody does, they're not doing anything to you. They're expressing a pain that's inside of them. And if you can allow them to go through that period of expression of pain and still love them, that's when you know you truly have love.
Right.
And that was why I used the acronym and said LOVE, life's only valuable equivalent.
That's what.
Love is life's only valuable equivalent, only equal to, because the Creator loves us because the sun comes up every day and it shines on everything on the planet. And who are we to judge that which allows us to cast a shadow?
Right. I love that. Life's only
Was it valuable equivalent?
Valuable equivalent. I love that.
Life is love, and how you value life is equal in how you're able to allow another human being, if the sun comes up and it shines on everybody, who am I to say what is and what isn't? Because I am love. That's why I'm here.
And I came to share that love.
Now, I'm going to throw a thought out there. Just a thought. If everybody deserves love, would you ever look at a human being and say, I don't want them to have any love? I don't want him to have any. I don't want her to have any love. I don't want them to have it.
Wow.
Can you see yourself saying that?
Right.
And what would have to be in your heart to feel that about someone? I don't want you to have any love.
Wow.
So now this is the emotion behind the thought that someone is taking someone from me. Especially if someone loves you and they honestly, sincerely love someone else and you're angry about it. What you're saying is that I don't want that person to get any love. I don't want them to have it. Why would you feel that? I mean, if love isn't being taken from you, it's just being shared with them. Why would you not want them to get any love? What is inside of you that would make you feel I don't want you to have love?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of mean?
That's very mean.
And yet that's what's inside of us. That's why we have difficulty with the idea of a culture where there are more than one partner in the relationship. Someone saying, I don't want her to have any love. Now, what do you do about that kind of emotion inside of you?
Baba Kwame? Did we lose you? Let me check the switchboard here. I think we lost him. Sorry about that. Let's go back to the phone lines. 773-737. Are you still with us?
Yes, I'm still with you. Thank you so much for coming back.
Yes, Mama D. You know I'm always come back for you.
Well, thank you. There's a lyrics in the song that says, you always hurt the one that you love. And then there's a movie called Love Story, and it said, love.
Never having to say your story.
But lying tongues, I want to get back to biblically speaking. Lying tongues destroy the body and the soul. All cheaters are liars, and the first person they lie to is themselves, because a righteous spirit will not allow you to do wrong and feel good about it. And when you are hurting someone else, you are doing wrong.
Yes.
So instead of accountability, they justify their actions by saying, oh, I'm helping them to overcome the loss of a loved one, a job, etc. They are depressed. But at the end of the day, they are lying. They're liars who are trying to justify unrighteous behavior because they know somewhere they have a heart that they are breaking someone else with their chosen behavior. So, would you address that?
Naima?
Yeah, well, I think that you look at what is causing pain. What is the thing that is hurting? Why is there hurt? And this is one of those things, I think, as our relationships evolve to a true spiritual state of love, then we look at how can we truly love someone and accept someone for who they are, and realize that we're on a temporary journey together, growing together until one of us departs. And I think probably my perspective is different than a lot of people because my life partner departed. And I never said to God, oh, why did you take my husband? Because he didn't belong to me. We were on a journey together. We fulfilled a purpose together. And then he went home. He was not mine. He was not a possession of me. We were a partnership. And we had an agreement to be a partnership until one of us departed. So I think the difficulty that we have is in believing that souls are things we own instead of souls are that those which we are on a journey together for our mutual benefit. And so how does someone cause you pain? Either they are dishonest with you, or they are physically hurting you in some way, or verbally hurting you some way in terms of perhaps saying hurtful words that diminish your character, or saying things to other people that diminish you in their eyes. But if someone is merely having feelings for someone else, does that hurt you because it is their emotions? And can you possess anyone's emotions? Of course you cannot. We're believing that we should be able to, and this is why we are hurting ourselves in believing that you should own, control, and possess someone else's emotions. This is why we talked about earlier in the show, somebody can be emotionally involved with someone even though they're legally bound to someone else, because you can't own emotions or even intellectual conversation. And understanding love is meaning love sets you free. Love does not bind. If something is binding you, if it is holding you hostage, it is not love. It is demanding that someone fulfill our insecurity. And we have to know the difference. Love is of the free will, and someone loves you freely. And they cannot be forced to love you. They choose to love you. And so even if someone chooses to love others, they still have chosen to love you. So if they choose to love you, where is their hurt? Why is there hurt? You have not lost love. Are you saying, I don't want someone else to have love? And if so, where is that emotion coming from?
The commitment. I think the brothers on Wednesday said it this way. You honor, it's not the person. You are honoring the commitment. And you court a person, but you marry into a family. These people become your in-laws, your sister-in-law, but it's your sister-in-law, because these families have married. And when a person is cheating, a definition of cheater that I'm using is when a person is willfully interfering in another person's household. And that person is where the harm and the injury comes, because if that person, that spouse, husband or wife, if they're choosing to stay in that relationship, then that person that's on the outside, the cheater, is interfering in that household. And it's not that everybody doesn't deserve to be loved. I shouldn't have to compromise what I've got going on to fulfill the needs of somebody else. Because there are lots of people out here that person has access to, but when they are actively involved in a marital relationship, they are cheaters and they are out of order. I don't see how you can justify anything else. They know what they are doing and they need to be accountable instead of making
You sure do marry the family.
That's
Yes,
true.
you do.
That's true. And on that note, I know our blog talk audience is going to be leaving us very shortly.
If they haven't already left.
But one of the reasons why we see in other cultures where there are plural marriages, often it was to create more family connections and strengthen the greater extended family. And so it was an economic structure. And it was a very powerful economic structure for those who were connected to many different families, because then they controlled a lot of the commerce, a lot of the land mass. So it was an economic decision, and it connected people so that the question always, well, who are your people? Where's your family? And so it really had to do with making sure that everybody was connected to a family. It wasn't about people having a one exclusive partner and agreeing to that. It was, how do we make sure everybody is included in a family? So that's a different concept than what we have in current Western culture. And as I was saying, one of the things that I discovered, even in the promotion of this book, The Female Solution, I discovered that a lot of our difficulty comes with the fact that we don't think family. Even when we have marital relations, you think, I ain't marrying his family. Yes, you are. You're marrying his family. You're marrying his mother and his father. You're marrying all their drunken fights. You're marrying everything that made him. You're marrying that uncle, that molested. You're marrying all of that. And if all of that is part of who he is, that's part of what you're bringing into your life. And we're not aware of that. Yep. And so that's why we make marital decisions without getting to know the family and knowing the family history. This morning on my 555 message, I was talking about how Iyanla Vanzant spoke of ancestral patterns. When you're marrying somebody, yes, you're also marrying their ancestral pattern. So if they have in their ancestral pattern, they've got infidelity, they've got alcoholism, they've got drug abuse, they've got domestic violence, all of that becomes part of what you're marrying, because all of that's part of what shaped them. So also in the African family tradition, in many African communities, before you marry somebody, you do a thorough research on their history. What's in their family? Do they have mental illness in their family? Do they have things in their family such as theft or violence? Or do they have people in their family that have been to prison? All of these things are researched before the family gives their consent for their son or daughter to marry into that family, because that's all part of what you're bringing. So yes, it's about families, and whether it's a monogamous or a plural situation, it's still the same process of deciding that I'm going to be connected to this family. We're stuck on the whole monogamous thing because we're stuck on the idea of, I have exclusive ownership of your genitalia. That's where the focus is. And I found that was the whole thing whenever we spoke and to women about considering a different cultural lifestyle that would allow our children to have the collective mothering they need. Their first thing was, I don't want no woman having sex with my man. And it's not about the sex. It's about taking care of children. And my last thing, because I know you got to go.
Put that book up there and tell us where we can get it from so I can type it in.
And of course, now we're also coming out with the Kindle version and the audiobook in March. And you'll be able to go to www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. And of course, go to the books page and get your copy. And we're looking forward to the audio book version as well. And one last thing in chapter 7 on the buffalo herd, Harmony in the Buffalo Herd. It's entitled, and I've told the story I've told before, but I had a memory of a past life experience as a child in a buffalo herd where I was being attacked by a leopard, and as I was running for my life, all of the mothers in the herd surrounded me, and my father, who was the big buffalo leader, he did battle with that leopard. And in that instant, all the understanding came to me about the form of culture in which there are many females and one male, it has nothing to do with sex. It has everything to do with protecting the children. And so I was allowed to remember that particular life in order to give me insight on part of my mission in this life. And that is to help women understand that the only way we're going to solve the problems in our community is if we learn how to collectively mother the children who've been abandoned, who've been orphaned, who have been born to women who are not prepared to be mothers. We must mother them so that they don't become the outcasts that then become the predators on our community because they don't feel connected to a family. And that means we have to understand love. And we must love each other.
Wow.
And we must love the children unconditionally.
Wow. That was powerful. You just ran right through that. That was powerful. Please repeat that.
We must love each other.
Oh,
and we must love our
children
unconditionally.
Yes.
Did I freeze? Am I unfrozen yet? So
you're unfrozen. You're good.
Oh, okay. So this is part of my task, my mission, my reason for being is to help women through this very difficult emotional challenge in being able to truly love enough to expand our awareness of what love is so that we can be the good wives that we desire to be the good mothers we desire to be, and also be the good sisters that we need to be to each other so that every woman and child is part of a family that also includes a loving father for those children, because all of our children need to be raised in healthy, loving families so they can become healthy, loving human beings. Every child out here that's committing crime is expressing pain. And usually it's the pain of rejection from one or both parents who are dysfunctional. So the functional parents need to be able to step up and do that collective mothering and fathering and bring in those orphans, bring in those neglected children. We must give them love where they're lacking love. And when we do that, we'll see the crime and violence in our communities disappear. So, sisters, this is the female solution. We must love. We must love our children, and we must love the men in our lives enough to allow them to be the loving men they can be. But they must be the honest, loving men and not the deceptive or the uninvolved or the uncommittal men. They need to be the honest, loving men that committed to us to love us. And then we need them to love the children. So this is our goal. And as we say every day, that we have the power to transform this world. We can end crime, violence, and poverty. All we have to do is one thing: share.
And share the love. And that's what we do here on the Female Solution. We hope you have enjoyed, I should say, today's show on Monday Morning Mindfulness. Love sometimes hurts, painful. Doesn't have to be. It's an inside job. So thank you for all of your comments and your suggestions and your thoughts and your prayers and tuning in, and be sure and share this video with others, because we all could use some more inside love, and that way we can love more on the outside. This is a quick note that we didn't make in the show that I wanted to address that someone sent me. Joe Biden committed, our president, today's President's Day, right? Joe Biden committed $4 billion for immigration issues, but not one single dollar for the Black community that elected him. So much for your presidency. I said, like you said, don't be confused about this new presidency. The rules, the laws, and the game has remained the same. Only the faces are different.
Yeah.
So when you all in a hoop about Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, just remember that. How much money they've put toward the immigration? $4 billion. 1, 2, 3, 4. I said billion, not million. $4 billion. But for African Americans who put them in office, how much? Think about that. And on that note, think about this. What would you do today? Oh, it stopped snowing. Praise God. What would you do if all your lights went off? If the heat went off? And you had nothing to eat but to depend on somebody to bring you some food? How would you feel? I want you to know that this is how the homeless feel right now. And you are in a position, we are in a position to make a donation to help get them generators. They need generators. They need to keep warm if they can't do anything else. We can take them food all the time. I'm talking about the tenants at Tent City, right there on Roosevelt, just before you get on the expressway going north. Roosevelt and Jefferson, I think it is. Yeah, it's Jefferson, right by the Shell gas station. The Higher Learning Network has taken it upon themselves, in which I am honored to be a part of. Higher Learning Network TV show, Tuesdays at 6, Wednesdays at 1 on Channel 19 and 24/7 on YouTube. Higher Learning TV show. My little brother, Douglas Robinson, was murdered February 19th, 2019. So coming up this Saturday, it'll be 2 years. And I made a promise to myself and to the residents of Tent City that we would always stay in touch with them, take them food, shelter. So we're working on getting another generator. We gave them one. They need another one because the population is growing. So I ask you to, if you know of someone who has a generator, or you know of a store that has a generator, or you would like them to make a tax deductible donation to the Higher Learning Network, you can go to the higherlearningnetwork.org or see the information that's scrolling on the bottom. You can go to paypal.com and email a donation to Higher Learning NW at Yahoo. Or you can also Zelle me or Cash App me. And you can get that information. I guess I should have that here, right? Let me create the banner right here for cash.
And while you're doing that, let me make this quick announcement that Beacon Light Ministry is having a food distribution. Of course, you need to have a vehicle. But if your family is struggling, this may be of assistance to assist families in need. Today, Monday, February 15th, that's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and Central Time. And the location is Julian High School, 10330 South Elizabeth Street. And you'll arrive at door 19, which is located near the football field, adjacent to the physical education building. Please remain in your vehicle. The food will be placed in your trunk. So again, that is today, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Julian High School, which is at 10330 South Elizabeth Street in Chicago. And you'll arrive at door 19, which is located near the football field, adjacent to the physical education building. Again, please remain in your vehicle. The food will be placed in the trunk. And Beacon Light Ministries, they have just done phenomenal work. You may recall a couple of years ago, their church burnt to the ground, but they maintain their food pantry. They still are out giving to the Roseland community, and many families are food insecure, as they call it, but they still continue to give. And just because you see somebody with a house or an apartment doesn't mean that everything's okay. You know, if people have lost their jobs and there's no income, how are they eating? So as our host said, sometimes you have to depend on other people for your survival. So our benevolence is critical for people being able to get through this pandemic and all of the subsequent things that have happened. We need to share.
Yes, we
give
do.
What you have, give what you can, and change a life.
And no donation is too small. Well, I only have $1. Send that dollar. That dollar might be the $1 that we need to buy that next generator. I ain't got but 50 cents.
Send that.
Get with somebody else and get their 50 cents so you can send $1.
That's right.
So thank you so much on behalf of the residents, tenants at Tent City. On behalf of our viewing and listening audience, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we look forward to joining us tomorrow morning right here on The Female Solution with Jody Susan of Susan Essentials, and you will be able to hear the information. Oh, her first. Oh, did I tell you about the Hunter method? Oh my God. I have not even been going back and forward that much because I use the Hunter method.
Wow.
Her very first guest on the show, Stephanie Hunter.
Yes.
That website is doyouhunter.com. I have not been able to sit for 3 hours. I started at 6:50. It's 10:15.
Wow.
Have you noticed I wasn't rocking the whole show?
Yes.
The Hunter method works. I've been going to chiropractors. I've been going to pain specialists. I've been going to what do you call a orthopedic doctor, my primary care doctor, and they all need to know. It's gonna put them out of business, but they still need to know about the Hunter method, because the things that I was doing, it worked temporary. As long as I keep doing these, I'm gonna be just fine. So I advise you, if you're in pain like I am, go to doyouhunt.com, and I will be posting all that information on social media as well. We look forward to seeing you here tomorrow morning. Thank you so much, our executive producer, Naima Latif.
Thank you.
And you can see her, you can join her Wednesday.
Yes.
I didn't read the rest of the week, none of them. So tell us what we got coming up Wednesday. I forgot about that.
Wednesday, we have another exciting men's only roundtable discussion, and we the women will be with our ear to the door on Facebook Live, making commentary as we listen to the men talk about the challenges of that second marriage. How do you learn to trust again? And they will give us some of their personal experiences, their insight, and we look forward to learning as we're striving to be those loving partners to the men in our lives and have the compassion to understand what they're striving to develop in themselves. So we'll be listening to that conversation on Wednesday. And then, of course, Thursday, we'll have our women's roundtable discussion. We've got a few women in the media we want to add to this discussion and give us some insight about some of the challenges that we go through as we make that transformation in our lives and become the independent women. Is it possible to have a relationship and be independent and forceful and aggressive, or does that frighten men away? We'll talk about that. And of course, Friday we have, yes, well, you know, many of us are experiencing some challenges, so we'll talk about that. How do we mold ourselves into a partnership and still maintain our strong independence? And then, of course, Friday, we will have health and wellness with Viata. As always, some healing methods that we need to know, because health and wellness is our natural state of being. And so the more we know, the more we can return to that natural state. And then, of course, we have Saturday with Move Around with Deborah. And as always, she's going to give us some insights on travel in this time period where so many places are under restriction. How do we still enjoy the ability to move around? And then Sunday, we'll be back with Viata with Soul Purpose Healing. So join us right here on the Female Solution. And of course, Saturday show, 12 noon to 2 p.m. Sunday show, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time. And we always have the shows available in the archives at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. So if you miss one, you can always go back and listen to it again.
And we'll also be having a special interview on Thursday, won't we?
Yes. Now, refresh my memory.
Zelda Speaks.
Yes. Absolutely. See, I tell you, you know, when
we're on overload, girl. You know I mean.
Overload. Yes, we want you to tune in. We will be speaking to none other than our Monday morning mindfulness host, Zelda Speaks, and she gives us some amazing insights because, of course, she does a whole lot outside of the Monday morning mindfulness that you need to know about, and some amazing programs that she's been working with. And of course, we want to share it with our listening and viewing audience on Thursday morning.
All right. We certainly look forward to it, and hope you look forward to it too. So please share this information. You'll be glad you did, because it's going to be hot all week. We know it's cold outside, but baby, it's hot up in here. We're like, oh, Lord have mercy. Stay on purpose. stay empowered. Stay tuned to your next edition of Higher Learning right here on The Female Solution. Make it a great day, and thank you so much for joining us. Namaste. Post up. Shalom.
Shalom.